Setting up. Loading. Okay, I think we're live. Let me just confirm that real quick in the Facebook group.
Welcome.
Okay, cool. We're live. I'm going to share this into the group and we can kick off.
Awesome. So, good morning, good evening, everyone. Today, the core services product team would be presenting. Just a quick QR code if you want to have all the updates related to any product town halls that would be happening. So you can just scan the QR code. I'll just pause here for, say, 10 seconds. Awesome. So I would be starting with calendars, and I'll just give you a quick brief about what all have we released until now and what all we would be releasing in this quarter. So to begin with, we have released the Calendly event importer. This is specifically useful to import all your events from Calendly. So if you do want to use the THL's suite, so all your tools like contacts, conversations, workflows, marketing, etc., but you've already had an account on Calendly, you can simply integrate your Calendly account with GHL, and after that point onwards, all events that are created on Calendly would simply be synced to GHL. Your contacts would be created in GHL. If you have scheduled any workflows for them, all of that would be triggered as well. So this you can simply connect from the connections tab, like you connect your Google Calendar or your Outlook calendar. Next, we have the audit logs for calendar settings. So this is again something that we've been hearing a lot, that somebody changed my duration, somebody changed the interval. I'm not sure who made the calendar changes, the setting changes. So anytime you change your calendar settings, an audit log would be created, which you can access from the settings and the audit logs tab. These logs are valid for 60 days. So you get to see when a particular calendar was updated, who updated it, what was the changes made, and you can definitely see that, okay, why was it changed? If there is any issue for troubleshooting purposes, this is a handy tool to have. Next, we have the restore calendars. So in the audit logs itself, anytime if you've deleted a calendar, all the appointments are also deleted with the calendar. So if you would want to restore these calendars as well as the appointments, you can simply go to your audit logs and just click on the three dots to restore the calendars. All your calendars that you restore along with the appointments that were deleted would be restored. This again lasts only for 60 days. So if you have deleted it by mistake, make sure you restore it within 60 days. Next, we have the appointment webhooks, so something for the developer community. You can now stay in loop with your appointment create. So anytime a new appointment is created, deleted, or updated, you can use the webhooks to fetch all the latest information for that. Next, we have the partial payments. So basically the deposit amount. Earlier in calendar payments, you could only collect the full amount of that particular service or calendar. Now you can define whether you would want to collect a deposit amount as well. It could be a flat amount or a percentage, and whatever is the deposit amount that you have mentioned in the calendar configuration, the transaction would take place only for that particular amount. Whereas for the pending amount, an invoice gets created. So for example, say it's $100 service and $20 is the deposit amount. So in the transactions tab, you could see the $20 that has been collected from the booker at the time of the calendar booking, whereas an invoice would get created for the pending $80, and you can then collect your pending amount against this particular invoice. Next, we had the improved UI UX for calendar integration. So the main reason for this was, one, to have a unified integration experience. So across your My Staff, My Profile, your calendar connections, you would now see a unified experience to connect any of your third-party calendars. So your Google Calendar, iCloud, Outlook, Calendly for that matter, your video conferencing, your Google Organic Booking, everything would be under one place itself. We have also introduced various validations like a processing tag. So anytime you have connected your calendar and your sync is under process, you won't be able to play around with it. So until the sync is completed. And we've added a lot of help text, help documents, illustrations, just to make it easier for you to come to the calendars page and just get started with connecting your calendar. Next, again, feedback from the customers itself. So in service calendar, we have introduced enhancements wherein now you get to decide your calendar's availability as well. So similar to a round robin calendar or a class booking calendar, you can have your calendar's specific availability plus your user's availability that you've added under the user settings. With this, we also have the maximum duration increased from 6 hours to 12 hours for a service. Also, earlier the service duration and interval were only in multiples of 15. So now it's a custom service duration and a custom interval. So according to your preference, according to your business use case, you can simply add 100 minutes, 150 minutes, whatever you would want. And finally, we have the staff selection as well. So earlier it was mandatory for a booker to choose a staff on the service calendar or the service menu. But now you can decide whether you would want to give that flexibility to the booker or you just simply want to go ahead with any available staff. Next, we have the widget order, so the form and date picker. This is, so if you might already know, so whenever you open the widget, earlier the date and time selector was always the first step and the form was always the second step. Now you get to decide whether the form should come first or the date picker should come first. So the main reason for this is to collect leads. Anytime a form is first and the form is filled, the booker goes on to the second step, but say he or she does not complete the booking, the lead still gets created. You still have the contact created in the system and you can still create different workflows to reach out to them again. So a small video of it. So anytime the form is filled, even if the customer doesn't really confirm the booking, you will still get to see who the contact was, from which form they came, and you can have your workflow schedule to reach out to them again. Next, we have the new payment methods that we have added in calendar payments. So we now have Stripe, NMI, Authorize.net, Razorpay, Google Pay, Apple Pay as well. And there are a few more payment methods that would be coming out shortly. Do we have any questions, any doubts till now? Awesome. Next
Is
up,
Apple Pay or Google Pay restricted to a particular region or
yes,
is it?
yes.
Is it
So it depends on your configuration. So if you have integrated with Stripe, there is an option to enable Google Pay and Apple Pay as well. And if that specific region supports it, then this would be available. So for example, US does support Apple Pay. So anyone booking from the United States can see the option of Apple Pay. But if a booker is in a location that Apple Pay does not support, then they would not be able to see the option.
Thanks.
Next up, we have the time zone abbreviation for appointments. So we have user time zone, we have business time zone, and sometimes it might confuse as to in which time zone you're viewing a particular appointment. So anytime there is a mention of the start time or end time of an appointment across the platform, it would now be accompanied with the time zone that you are currently viewing in. So if you're viewing it in CST, PST, it would be specified right next to the time itself. This would be in conversations, in contacts, in opportunities, in the appointment modal, everywhere. Next is the rich text editor for calendar description, another requested item from the ideas board as well. So this basically helps you add your description of your calendar, of your booking widget, and you could have it added as bold, you could add hyperlinks, you can add paragraphs to it, you can change the text color, you can change the background color. So you can basically configure how you would want your description to look like on the booking widget. Yes, so this is again something very important for a sales use case. So this is the team member assignment. In this, what happens is anytime somebody reschedules an appointment, you get to choose whether that contact should be assigned to the same appointment owner for the rescheduled appointment, or do you want to reassign it through round robin? So if your use case is that the lead should always be with the same contact, you can have it as keep the same appointment owner. Whereas if optimization is something that you're looking for, that doesn't matter who conducts the appointment should take place, that is of more priority, then you can reassign it through the round robin. So along with reschedule preference, we also have a similar setting for new appointments. Just one thing to note here is that the form has to be first in the widget order for you to enable this. Because only if the form is first do we get to understand who the contact is. So once we have the contact's information, we identify who the contact's assigned user is. And based on that, only show the slots for that particular user if you have enabled always book with the contact's assigned user.
What's the default in the rebooking?
So the default is reassigned through round robin because this was there earlier. So before this was released, it was always a round robin assignment for new appointment as well as for a rescheduled appointment. So that would always be a default. You can go to the calendar settings of a round robin calendar, and near the team members, there's the advanced setting option. So you can simply click on it and this pop-up would show up. Awesome. Moving on, we have the multiple meeting locations on the booking widget. So now you get to configure different locations in your calendar settings for an event calendar or a round robin calendar with one user. And whatever you configure in the settings, all the options are shown to your booker. They then get to decide which one is their preferred location. So say you've configured phone call, Google, and Zoom. The booker then chooses their preferred meeting location, and that is used for any future communication in your emails, in your workflows, on the appointment modal. We have also come up with an enhancement for this. So soon, within the next week, we would be releasing Ask the Booker, wherein if somebody chooses Ask the Booker, an input field would be shown and the booker can input their, say, home address, office address, or whatever phone number they would want to add, so that you can simply ask the booker directly on the booking widget and you don't really have to send them a different form or maybe call them up and ask for the address. So that would be an enhancement that will be coming up soon. Next, we have the cancellation and reschedule policies. This is something that is important to prevent any last minute cancellations or reschedules to your appointments. You can simply configure it in your calendar settings. You get to choose what is the latest that somebody can reschedule or cancel. During that time period, if somebody does open up the widget, they can cancel it. But once the time period has passed, they would see an error message saying that the cancellation window has expired, and they would have to reach out to the appointment owner or the business owner to cancel or reschedule a particular appointment. Right. So this is something that we've been doing for the past couple of months, and this is something that we would be doing in future as well. So we are trying to optimize how quickly your booking widget loads. So we don't want the customers to wait on the booking widget, and we are making sure that this time is reduced as much as possible. So until now, we have made significant improvement in terms of we've reduced the maximum time required for the booking widget to open up by 46%, as well as we've also reduced the average latency for the free slot. So to calculate what are the slots when a particular user or a calendar is available by 23%. This is something we would be continuing in the future as well, and we would make sure to make it as quick as possible whenever somebody opens a booking widget, so that the conversion rate is also increased. So these were the releases that went out in the past couple of months, and I'll quickly go through the upcoming releases. So we are almost done with the troubleshooting tool. This would go out pretty soon. Here, the main purpose is for you to identify why a particular slot is not available. So there could be tons of reasons, like you've applied a buffer, there's a Google Calendar event that is blocking your availability. So for you to get transparency as to why a particular slot is not available, and if there is any setting changes that you could undertake so that a particular slot opens up. So this would now be possible for all types of calendars in the calendar settings. Next, we have the custom email notifications. So again, something coming from the ideas board. We do have email notifications that go out today. for a confirmation email, but you can't really configure or change it. Now you would be able to add your confirmation email, your cancellation email, your reminder emails, as well as your follow-up emails from the calendar itself. So you don't have to go and create any workflow or any automation for this. This would be a very straightforward approach where you can choose who you send out the notification to. You can decide when the notification goes out. So for example, if it's a reminder email, should it go out 10 minutes before the event? If you want to add 2 reminders, so one goes out 1 day before and one goes out 10 minutes before, you can do that as well. Plus, you can also have your own customized content for the email body. And you can choose whether all 4 of them should be enabled or only, say, confirmation email should be enabled. Right. Next
So
is the, yes, please go ahead.
So just a question, I know if I'm connected with Outlook, there's a meeting request that goes out via Outlook, and the contact then would need to accept the meeting as well, right?
Right.
So how does all of this work in relation to that? Because I found that, sometimes, 3 emails actually goes out, confirming
Right.
meetings, requesting confirmation, and all of those.
Right. So there are 2 settings here. One setting is if you would want your third-party calendars to send out the emails. And the second is if you would want GHL to send out the email. You can choose to enable both, disable both, or have one of them enabled. So in the settings itself, you would get an option of which particular email you would want to send out. The confirmation email that you have configured or the one that goes out from the third party. You can do that today as well from the calendar settings. So there's so under notifications, there's an option of allow Google or Outlook to send emails. You can just simply turn it off if you don't want them to send out the emails.
So that's the appointment confirmation email that goes out, right? Or the meeting request email that goes out.
So that's the email that goes out from the third party. So the one that Outlook sends out directly. There's one more confirmation email. So the acknowledgement email, you would see something like this in the current view, where you can choose if it should go out to your contact, assigned user or not. If you don't want the confirmation email to go out, you can simply disable all the checkboxes here.
Okay, this is great. Thanks so much. Really great.
Awesome. Moving on, we have a new and simplified approach towards calendar creation. So you would now get to see a side-by-side preview so that you get real-time feedback of all the configurations that you have made. So if you add your availability, you get to see what your availability looks like. If you have added any customizations, color changes, background changes, description, you get to see it right here itself. You can also view at the troubleshooting view from the particular calendar creation. You get to choose if you would want to share it from this view itself. Plus, it's a more simplified information architecture. So any setting that is closely related with another setting would be found in a single place. And you wouldn't really have to go through the settings to find a particular configuration. So the information architecture would be as simple as possible. Next, one of the most voted ideas on the ideas board, we have the Microsoft Teams integration coming in this quarter. So along with Zoom and Google Meet, you can now integrate your Microsoft Teams. And anytime you have chosen Microsoft Teams as your meeting location, a dynamic link would be generated, which would be sent out to the customers so that they can hop on the call or the Microsoft Teams account. Right. So the second last slide from my side, we have the recurring appointments coming in. As you know, currently, if you do book a recurring appointment, different appointments get created for the same recurring appointment. Whereas with this enhancement, what is going to happen is there would be a single event that gets created, but with different or say multiple recurrences. So you would now be able to edit all the recurrences in bulk, delete all of them in bulk. You wouldn't really have to go to each particular occurrence and edit it separately. But similar to, I would say, how a Google Calendar works, you can choose whether you want to change it for a particular event for all the following events or for all the events that were there in the system. With this, we are also expanding the limits on the recurring events. So currently it's limited to 24 occurrences, but this limit would also be increased. Plus, with new payment methods coming in, we are also introducing payments for recurring appointments as well. Next up, we have the class booking enhancements. So for the class booking calendar specifically, you can now choose whether you want to integrate your Zoom, Google Meet, or Microsoft Teams. And anytime somebody books for a particular class, you can choose what it should be the preferred meeting location, and the dynamic link which is created would be sent out to all the members of that particular class. Plus, you can also have them add guests to class bookings, and they could book the class for themselves, or they can get guests along with them, which would definitely reduce the seat count, whatever you've configured. Next up, we have the hide details for private events. So something that we are doing in terms of privacy. So if you have an event which is private on your third-party calendar, so say you have marked events on your Google Calendar as private, whenever they are synced to high level, you will not be able to see any information for that particular event. It would be shown as busy just with the duration of a particular event, so that you or anyone else from your team that is currently using the system does not get to see any of your private events. Finally, we have the coupon codes coming up. This will essentially help bookers to apply a coupon code while they are on the booking widget, and whatever you've configured in the coupon, that particular discount or that particular coupon would be applied, and subsequently the calendar payments would be adjusted. Finally, this is something that we've been thinking of doing in this quarter. So we would be separating out the service calendars and the sales calendars. Because many times what happens is somebody using a service calendar is doing that for a specific industry, and they are not really worried about other types of calendars like event calendars or class booking calendars. So the agency would get to decide which sub-accounts can access service calendars and which sub-accounts can access sales calendars. This is to make sure that it's a very simple approach and users are using only the calendars that are required for them, and they are not overwhelmed with different types of calendars. Plus, the service menu creation would be simple. So you would just have to create a service, and that would automatically be added into your service menu. You don't really have to go and create multiple service menus or groups for this. With this, we would also be adding different add-ons, and so again, something requested by customers a lot. So in a single service calendar, you can have multiple durations. So for example, you have a massage, a service for massage. You can choose whether it's a 30-minute, 45-minute, or a 60-minute duration with multiple pricing options for each duration as well. So we are hoping that this would just simplify your experience of using calendars altogether. And yes, so if there are any questions, I'll take that. Otherwise, Prasun, Shrikant, over to you.
Awesome. Question, the Teams integration, is that gonna be like a full integration? Because I've worked extensively in Microsoft, and I know that you can do a half integration and use the Teams services.
Right.
Meaning,
So
are we doing a full-blown integration with the Teams service?
no. So to begin with, it would just be for calendars. So only for your video conferencing, that's it. And that too, if you have an education account or a business account, if you have these two types of accounts, you would be able to use it.
So Microsoft links up with Teams through Outlook. Is that's the part of the integration I'm talking about? Is that when you select a meeting using Teams, the full integration will be generates a Teams meeting, and then that prompts to trigger a push with a real Microsoft invitation. Is that what we're doing here?
So to be honest, we are still exploring how we are doing this, but the main approach here would be that you integrate your Teams account. We create a Teams link, and if the team the Microsoft Teams is anyway sending it out to Outlook, then that would come into picture anyway. But I can give you a better answer on this maybe in the next 10 to 15 days.
Because just as a heads up, as far as a product solution, the lack of Microsoft services has been a huge blow as far as limiting market. A lot of stable small to medium businesses use Microsoft, and so if you guys actually did do the complete integration piece there, that'll really open the door. The kind of how where Google will, you can create a meeting, but before, like when you guys first rolled it, you couldn't really do much with Google, right? So yeah, you guys will send hey, you have a meeting scheduled, here's a regular plain text, or there's the automation flow, you can like throw in links, but not having to have like manual intervention by the recipient, and then just getting an official invite link is critical as far as onboarding those types of clients.
Got it. Noted. Thanks for the feedback, Brandon. Prasun, Shri.
Cool. I'm guessing that's the end of questions for calendars. Hey guys, Srikanth here. I'm from the automation side. I'll first talk about what we have done in the last quarter as well as what's coming ahead. I'm also dropping my calendar link in the chat. So we could, one of you, if you'd want to give us some feedback, user feedback, please do book a call, and then I would love to have a chat with you. Let me know when you can see my screen. Oh, give me a sec. Visible?
Yes, yes.
Awesome. Any questions, keep dropping them in the chat. My colleagues Prasun and Abhishek will keep answering them as we go. Yeah, but getting started, the first one I wanted to speak about is the What's New feature. So what we have done is we have launched a new feature called What's New over here. So if you're able to, whenever you go to the workflow landing page and you click on the What's New feature, which is what you can see, all the new features that we are actually launching out, though we send out emails on it, we're also now showing you in the canvas itself where you can see what is the new feature that has been launched and also read about it on what's coming. Is it a new action, new trigger, and more stuff on that. Also, if you click on Let's Get Started, it takes you to a pre-created template on which you can easily get started with the new feature and start exploring things over there. The next one I want to speak about is the reentry, right? So what we have done is whenever there is a new workflow that is created, we are by default keeping the reentry option as on. And I just want to also point out here that whatever workflows are earlier available, these would not be affected. So only it's with all the new workflows that are being created, and that's where the allow reentry is by default going to be toggled as on over here. The next one I want to speak about, the next couple of slides rather, I want to speak about is about our AI offerings or our what we are doing with our AI offerings, right? So the first thing we want to say is that we have launched a couple of more models out there. Earlier, we only had 2 models. Right now, we made it 4 in total. So we have GPT-4 Turbo, GPT-4o, 4o Mini, as well as 3.5 Turbo currently. That is the first thing I want to speak, like what is currently being done over now. It's the same thing. All you just need to do is just click on the model and then select what sort of a model you want, enter your prompt, and then it goes as smooth as what is currently happening. The next update on the AI piece, what I want to speak about is this action type, what you can see over here. So what we have done is to make things simpler as well as keep it easier. There are a couple of action steps, or rather a couple of prompts that we think will be super helpful to you folks. Like that is one of it is analyze the text sentiment, or even if you want to translate the text, or maybe say translate content from one language to another context language, right? So we have given a couple of easy to use actions over here, as well as what you can see is the custom sort of action type over here. So custom sort of an action type is nothing but you having to type down the prompt and what you want the OpenAI chat GPT to be doing behind the screen. The next one I want to speak about, this is something we have heard quite a lot from the ideas board and a lot of feedback from you guys, is the memory key, what I want to speak about. So before I go into depth of it, I just want to give a caveat over here that if you would want to start using this in the beta phase right now, you can go to the settings into your labs and need to enable it over there. By default, you would not be seeing this enable history feature, but once you do it on the labs, that's when you would be able to see, that's when you would be able to rather use memory keep. So going in depth on what the memory key is, right? So as soon as you open the chat GPT action or the OpenAI action, you'd be able to see a enable history toggle over here. So what enable history toggle essentially does is enables for you to remember the history of the entire user. And there are also a couple of different types of which the history is going to be stored, right? So talking about the type of histories or what sort of history that is going to be that's going to be saved for future prompts, right? The first I want to talk about is the sub account, right? So we have given a type action that is a sub account. So when I mean by a sub account, what's going to happen is every workflow in your entire sub account, whatever the ChatGPT instructions or the prompts or the responses that are being having, all of this will be saved into the history onto the next time ChatGPT is being hit. Again, just repeating it again, it's going to be, if you use this sub account option over here, it is going to be across the entire sub account, all the workflows. Second one is this workflow. Like it says, it's going to remember the history or the memory of the entire workflow. So when I mean by that, just giving an example is, say I have entered as a contact into a workflow. Say a couple of ChatGPT actions are there. 1, 2, and 3, right? 3 different actions are there. So every time I go from one action to another, it is going to remember the earlier earlier memory rather for the every next prompt it is having. Also, say if my contact enters into the same workflow again, it is still going to remember all of this context before it. So this is rather going to be like for every contact, every time it's going inside a workflow, it remembers the entire history of it and it just does not get lost over there. But whereas per execution is similar, but the only difference over here is that, say if I've entered into the workflow for the first time and there are 3 different GPT actions over there, the third GPT action would remember the earlier 2 of them, but once I exit out of it, all this is moved to trash. So say if the same contact is coming back to the workflow again, it's going to be a new memory altogether and it is not going to remember. In simple terms, the difference between the workflow and the execution is that if you select a workflow, it's going to remember the entirety of it even once he re-enters. But in per execution, once the contact has reached an end state, all the memory earlier to it is moved to trash, even though the re-entry is turned on. Once the contact comes again into the workflow, it's going to be a fresh memory altogether over there. This step, like it talks about, is just on that particular ChatGPT step, which is there it remembers the memory for. And custom, there's another step over here called custom. So custom is where you probably want to add your own instructions or want to do a couple of other things. The other one, what I want to speak about is this advanced options, what we have, right? So we have added a couple of options over here. One is temperature. Like I'm sure most of you know how accurate or how accurate you want the output to be, whether it's from 0 to 1, whatever you choose, that is what the randomness of the output would determine. And also, if you notice over here, we have 2 toggle buttons. One is for exclude instruction from history, and another one is exclude responses from history. Like the name suggests, if you toggle any of these on, the first one is going to exclude all the instruction from history. So these are essentially not going to be saved in the history, whatever the instructions you have given to the action. Second one is exclude response from the history. So if this is turned on, whatever responses that have come from the ChatGPT responses, right, these would not be stored in the history in the memory sort of a thing. The next one I want to speak about is the deleted tab or the restored deleted workflow. So we have heard a couple of times about, hey, I deleted my workflow by mistake, or someone had deleted it and I didn't want to actually delete it, right? So it was a hassle earlier to come back and find out what is deleted and even to restore. So we have made this straight onto our dashboard itself, where right next to the all workflows tab, you can see another tab called deleted, where we are essentially going to show you all the workflows that have been deleted, as well as deleted by whom and the date for it, as well as a simple button where on restore it automatically restores back. One thing I want to add over here is that whatever workflows have crossed more than 90 days and have been in the deleted stage would be deleted permanently and they would not be able to be restored back again. So this window is there for 90 days, I would say. And also, when you mean by restore, it's going to contain all the triggers, actions, and any configuration that you have done earlier to this workflow. The next one was a parity, rather, I would say, is earlier we did not support custom values in the math operation, like you could see over here. Right now, we gave this option of adding custom values over here. Now, doing operations on top of these custom values is something we are working on in the coming quarter. But currently, you can use this math operations. You can use this custom values inside your math operation. The next one I want to talk about is the Google Sheets, right? So we already have Google Sheets up and running, but we have added a new action type inside Google Sheets. That is, it allows you right now to look up at multiple rows inside the spreadsheet, right? So earlier this was not possible, but now you could do this where across multiple rows you can do a simple lookup of what you generally do on your Excel over there. The next one is a multi-select feature. So earlier you would not be able to select multiple sort of things in the same, right? Like say for example, in a workflow trigger, if it's a Facebook related comment or some other workflow trigger, you wanted to add contains phrase. Earlier you could only select a single phrase and not like a couple of different phrases where you want to just filter it out, right? So it was very much like a or sort of a function earlier. Right now it's both an and on and or, where instead of only doing with one particular tag, you could select multiple of these, and that's how you can proceed over here. Like if you could see over here, earlier it was only one single was possible, but right now you could select multiple of them, similar what you can see over here. The next one I want to speak a little bit about is the IVR. So in IVR earlier, what used to happen was the only way a person could stop this IVR or end an IVR call was when the receiver of the call actually cuts this call out. But you could not do it from your end. Now we have given this option where you can end IVR from your end itself. Now this, exactly happens is whenever a call is going out into the system, even if the customer has probably put you on hold for any X amount of time, right? You can do it like a manual, you can do it like a force end IVR call from your end where it automatically ends the IVR call, what has been already started. The next one again about IVR, I want to speak one more is we have given an in-app calling for IVR. So earlier you could not first select your channel on where the IVR call should be coming from, whether it's your phone number, web app, or your mobile app. We have given this option where if you go to your settings page into the call and voicemail settings, you can see this sort of a default channel for IVR where you can literally select where the call should be coming, and that is where you'd be getting the call. Also over your mobile app right now. When I mean my mobile app, of course, the GHL mobile app, what is currently there. The next one, we have noticed this request quite a bit. And yes, that's the custom code request. So earlier, this was not possible, where you could probably write your own JavaScript code of maybe sorting through an array or finding a particular number in an array. That was not possible earlier without the array function or anything which is related to adding your own custom logic was not particularly there earlier. So we have added this feature of custom code where you can write your own JavaScript logics of what you would want to do and then use that result onto the pertaining next steps over there. The next one is regarding the AI piece with respect to FB and IG, right? So earlier you could not use whatever comments. Let me rather put in an example, right? So say you want to reply to a Facebook comment depending on what the comment is. Earlier, this was not possible, wherein you could send this particular comment inside a prompt for the ChatGPT and then ask ChatGPT to give a proper response. Now you could do this where inside ChatGPT window itself, you can add an FB comment as your custom value, what you can see over here. So you can just in your custom picker, if you click on this, you can add the FB IG comment what has come from here, and then automatically use it onto your prompt for ChatGPT whenever you're trying to hit the action over there. The next one I want to speak about is the nested folders. Earlier, if you might have noticed, right? Earlier, all the workflows were listed in a list, right? One after one, one after one, one after one. And a lot of requests have come where we want to probably sort the marketing funnels as separate or the backend flows as separate and stuff like that. So earlier, this was not possible where folders inside of folders were not possible. So we have given this making a folder as well as a folder inside a folder. That is a nested folder functionality right now is what we have given over here. So you go inside a folder, create another folder, and then you can move your workflows directly into that nested folder. This was what we have done in the last quarter. Are there any questions or anything that you want me to go through again? Anything over here? Or I can go to what we're building the next quarter.
Is there any limitations on the JavaScript?
Yes, so there is one limitation right now. What we have on the JavaScript is you cannot hit endpoints. Rather, I mean, you can do all the logic you want, math logic or any other logic you want, but you cannot hit external endpoints over here.
Okay. So I can pull and manipulate all the data values in a sub account.
Yeah, you could, but you cannot hit an endpoint to do this, like do anything related to an endpoint.
Okay.
Awesome. I am moving forward then for what we're coming in the next quarter, right? So the first thing I want to speak about what we are releasing in the next quarter is the error notifications, right? So what we have realized is that what we have rather heard from you folks is that whenever an error or whenever something is going wrong with your workflows, there is no way for you to actually know about it. The only way right now, what it is you probably have to come every day to check on how your workflow is doing and then see if there's an error and then actually manually fix it over there. So what we thought is that, hey, is there a better way to solve this? And we felt that to start with, at least we would be giving these notifications over email to all you folks, where whenever there is an error in a workflow, in any sort of a workflow, there is any type of an error, we would be sending you an email to whatever emails you have added. So by default, all the agency owners would be getting, but if you go into your workflow settings, you can add whatever emails you would want to receive it over there. And also, I want to add one thing over here is that to start with, in the first phase, we are starting with five different triggers. But going forward, we would be adding all of them and also giving you the optionality of choosing which trigger and action you want a notification for, and for which you don't want a notification for. The next one is pause workflow, right? Like the name suggests, we have noticed that say it's a Christmas, right? 25th of December, and you want to pause the workflow on that day because people would get annoyed if you keep sending them messages, right? But this was not possible earlier. So what we have done is, if you want to pause on a particular date or a particular range of dates, whether it's a Christmas weekend or New Year's weekend, right? You want to pause the entirety of the week. We have given you a date range picker where you can go to the settings, enable pause workflow, choose what is the start date and the end date, and then pick also what sort of workflows you would want to pause it over there. Also, there's an annual tab where annually every year on this particular dates, it keeps repeating over there. The next one I want to speak about is find opportunity. So right now, what's happening is every time an opportunity enters or every time any action is happening onto an opportunity, it is only the last opportunity that is entering. And whenever a contact has, whenever lead has like multiple opportunities, none of them except the last opportunity that has come in actually goes through all of these actions. So what we are doing is we're launching a new action called find opportunity, where you would be able to select what type of opportunity do you want to proceed further with, right? Whether it is the latest one, earliest one, or maybe you want to filter it out with a couple of filters, what you can see on the screen. So this is going to be an entirely new action called find opportunity to literally find the opportunity for that particular lead which is coming through. Rather, I would say filter for that particular opportunity. The next one I want to speak about is the wait step enhancement. So we are doing a couple of enhancements onto the current wait step. We have heard from you folks that, hey, can we make this simpler, or why am I getting stuck, right? So we are doing a couple of changes to this wait step. Now, one of the change I want to talk about is that we are adding a default branching onto the wait steps, where whenever there is a timeout with respect to any wait condition, right? If there's a timeout, we are automatically adding an other branch so that you folks it's super clear on, hey, why the contact has gone on the timeout way, or why has the contact gone via the wait condition, which is already there. Having said that, I also want to tell that whatever are there earlier, whatever wait steps you guys have configured earlier, do not worry, it's not going to be automatically made into this. Only going on in future is where you would be able to sort of do this branching. And the next thing I want to also speak is that right now, if there is any contact in the wait step in the statistics page, the only thing you could do there right now is delete all the contacts or push all the contacts onto the next step, right? So we're giving you this picker sort of a thing where you can select what sort of contacts you want to push to the next stage or push to the next action or delete them out of the workflow. So pick and choose sort of the option is what we are giving. Also, if you see, you can see an information over here on when is the next execution date, right? Like when is this contact waiting for, or when is the next execution action that is going to do over here. So that are the two changes what we are adding, and also the custom fields which are not currently available on wait, that as well we are adding. Similarly, we are doing also a couple of enhancements for the if else action what we have, right? So whenever what I mean to the first rather I want to speak about is that right now in if else action, you open an if else action and then you trigger or you make your own branches altogether, right? We wanted to make this easy, a little bit easier, where what we have done is we are giving sort of micro templates, or rather easier ones or most used sort of if conditions, where as soon as you go to the if else condition, there's going to be a condition type. Once you click on the condition type, you have availability, email event, contact reply, and hashtag. All these four of them, whenever you click them, automatically will populate what the most common if else ones. And of course, you have a custom sort of condition type where you can edit and you can do your own branching, you can do your own conditions to be set up over there.
So, so the idea, Shrikant, if you can go back, yeah. The idea here was again, to bring in these templates, because we have noticed that, many times people who want to put in a condition, they're not sure where and what kind of configurations they do. So we went through the data and we figured out, hey, what are the top 4-5 condition types which people are using? And then we created default templates so that, any new user who comes in, they would be able to select this directly. And then, there's a template which guides them how and what needs to be configured there. So that's the whole purpose of adding these condition type templates there. And of course, for power users, but you already know how this works, you can always select the custom one and then, build your own conditions there.
The next enhancement I want to speak about is we are also adding a textual explanation of what is going to happen, right? So whenever there is a if else you have selected, right now you do not know what is the condition that you have configured inside the if else condition. So we are showing a text over here so that it's just very easy for you folks. And as well as any other conditions are there, we show you a drop down where over here on the text we are trying to essentially show is that what is the condition you have picked and what is going to happen over here. So you would not have to every time click on the condition and then find out which branch has it gone through and then figure out what the branch definition is over there. Also, I forgot to mention, we are doing a similar thing for wait. I forgot to mention that. Even for wait, we are doing a similar textual explanation on what the condition is, and as well as the timeout condition when it's going to be timed out. Yeah, the next one I want to speak about is notes and sidebar, right? So we are launching a new sidebar onto our workflow canvas, like what you can see over here. So this is a new sidebar where we're going to be giving a couple of actions where one is notes, one is sticky notes, as well as action level comments. Going in depth for each one of them, right? What you can see over here is every time there's going to be this sidebar on the canvas, and the first option, what you see is a note option, note taking option. So maybe you want to explain something about this workflow to your internal teammates or to someone else, right? Or you just want to remember about what has happened. So we are giving you this option to add notes over here. So you can just keep adding notes over here and then it's saved automatically. Now, the next thing I want to speak about is the sticky notes, right? So like we have noticed from a lot of folks is you guys want to, start brainstorming on top of the workflow canvas. So how you're building it or why you have built it and stuff like that. So that is where we have also added the workflow canvas where sticky notes on the canvas, where if you select this option and click on the sticky notes, you can type whatever you want and the sticky note is there on the canvas itself for your reference in future.
Shrikant, just to pause you there for a bit, can you zoom in a bit more on the presentation? I guess it's a bit on the eyes.
Is it this slide only, or do you want me to go back?
In general, I'd say just zoom in maybe by 10-15%. I think that
I'm not able to do that now. One sec. No, I think that is it on the slideshow.
I see.
That is
You
it.
Maybe
use shortcut
just,
keys out of Figma. Control plus will zoom in your
Yeah.
views.
Yeah, you can zoom in on your own client if you want, but in the future we'll divide these up a little bit so they're easier. But don't worry
Yep.
about it for now.
Carry on, Shrikant.
The next thing what we're doing is onto the actions itself, right? Now, at every action, maybe you want to add some comments onto it. So we are just revamping this comment section over here. So every time you hover over a particular action, you would see add a note. And when you click on that, you're taken to the notes section where you can add your own notes. So just to clarify, there is going to be workflow level notes where you can keep adding, you can click on it and keep adding, or you also have the action level notes, which comes on top of your action. When you hover over it, it's going to take you to this place where you can type your own notes whenever you want. The next thing I want to speak about is the landing page enhancements. Unfortunately, I don't have a image or a Figma to show you, but in short, just giving you a description, right? In short, what I want to give you is that one of the enhancements, the first enhancement rather, what we're doing is we're giving you a new sidebar in the workflow canvas itself. So, sorry, in the workflow listing page itself. So every time you click the workflows button, where you see the workflow listing page, right? You're going to be having a new sidebar pertaining to each workflow where we'd be showing a bunch of information. So think of it this way, right? Say you want to find the summary of your entire workflow on where is like the move to folder, or when is the workflow being created, or when it's in last been updated, or stuff like that. So we're going to be giving you a new side drawer onto the listing page where you can see all of these options over there. That is the first. The second is what we're doing is whatever filters are currently there right now, we are adding new filters over there where you can filter the list of all the workflows depending on whether it is in draft mode or whether it is published, or even the trigger and actions, right? Maybe you only want to find what all workflows have a wait step in it, or what all workflows have a customer reply trigger in it, right? You want to find out only those, or maybe even just the tags for that matter of fact. So you can filter it out with this sort of inputs, and then accordingly all your workflows will be shown over there. The third one I want to speak about is the sorting. So right now, the sorting is not there for all of them. Like say, for example, you cannot sort with created date or last updated date, or whether by publishing and the draft stage ones. So we are giving even this sort functionality on all of the columns, headings, what you can currently see over here. The next one I want to speak about is the marketplace enhancements, or what are we doing from the workflow side for us developers to build more, right? Before I speak about this or keep going about this, I just want to ask you guys if you could drop what is the most common apps, or what is the apps that you guys want to integrate very badly and that's not there on the high level ecosystem. If you could drop them on the chat, it'd be super helpful for me to pick it going forward. Yeah. Having said that, the first thing what we're doing on the marketplace enhancement is we are allowing you to do a pause execution, right? So when I mean by allowing you to do a pause execution, currently what's happening is that every time you create a action via the action or an app via the marketplace, it's a very 1:1 sort of a scenario where the action takes place and automatically the contact is moved to the next stage of the workflow. Say, for example, you want the contact to be stuck on that particular stage for a while because you want to do process at your end for whatever reason it is, right? Now, that is currently not possible. So we are giving you a pause execution in the configuration page. So if you go to the marketplace, my apps, and inside the workflows, wherever you're configuring the actions, right, you will also see a pause execution button over here, where if you turn on the pause execution, the user is paused on that particular branch for a while. And we are going to also give you a webhook, which you would have to hit so that the user is resumed after, whenever the webhook is hit, the user is going to be resumed onto the next set of actions over there. The next enhancement, what we are getting out live is the branching feature, right? So maybe as simple as you want to take the user via different flows whenever there is a different set of response that is coming from the action, right? And right now, you could only do this via if else, where you take the response of this particular action what you have, and then add your own if else, where in the workflow you create if else and then sort of do the filtering stuff over there. But what we are trying to do is in the marketplace itself, we are allowing you to make branches for your own action. So every time you go to the configuration page, you'll be able to see a branches option. And whenever you select on the branches option, we would be giving you a bunch of inputs that need to be done, whether it's what is the sort of button that is there, or what needs to happen inside this particular button and stuff like that. So giving you an entire set of options to do branching inside the marketplace actions is what we are also getting outboard. Again, like I mentioned, guys, please do drop whatever apps or whatever external sort of integrations that you guys are looking forward to. We would be more than happy to take a look and build those out for you. On that note, that's it from the automations team. We would, again, like I mentioned earlier, we would love to have a chat with you for our user conversations and understand where are we lacking and what we could do better so that your business are also going forward. The QR code is mentioned over here. I'll also drop the calendar link. Please do book a call and it'd be super helpful for us. Any questions? Open to take.
I think we've answered all of them in the chat, unless somebody's got
Oh.
something.
Awesome.
Yes, I would like to ask, because you mentioned that it was being explored, the functionality of being able to filter the trigger and the action on the overall workflow, like what we have before on the old triggers and actions. Is that a hard switch or a hard transfer for that functionality?
I didn't get the question, dear. Can you repeat on what did you mean?
So the old triggers and campaigns, before we had workflows, we
Okay.
had the triggers and then campaigns. And then for each of those functionalities, we have the option to filter for a trigger or for an action. So for example, filter all workflows, filter all triggers that has this particular kind of trigger. And then it will show only, it will filter all of those triggers before that has that particular, that has been, specified on a filter, something like that.
Yes, yeah. So this we'll be able to achieve this using in the landing page enhancement. So for all the workflows, you'll be able to filter them through any trigger that they are using, any action they are using, tags, or you can use any combination of these filters also.
Would there be a roadmap, or is that like next quarter, next year?
Yes, this is planned for this quarter itself. So
For
just
the
taking
filter, for the filter
Yeah.
one? Okay.
Yes, so just taking an example here, you click on advanced filters and you want all the workflows that have Facebook comments on a post trigger in that. You just select that trigger in that and it will populate all the triggers, all the workflows, sorry.
Yep, correct.
Yes, it's planned for this quarter. It will be part of landing page enhancements.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Way ahead of you. Keith.
Thank you very much. This is this is in response to the request for what integrations should we create. My response is I think the issue has as much to do with the search function on the app marketplace as it does with what things we should integrate. So the specific example that's in the chat is, what about ClickUp? I'm 90% certain that I've already seen somebody has released an integration app for ClickUp, but the search function, you can't, it seems like you have to know the exact name of the app that you want to search for in order to be able to find it. If you just start typing the function, what the app should do, I get no app found, no app found, no app found, even when I know there's apps in the marketplace that do whatever it is that I think I want it to do. Is
Yes,
that a
Keith.
complete story?
Yes,
Yeah.
Keith, I completely agree with your point over there. On the workflow side of things, at least, so we are doing this enhancement where in the search bar, you can also, like you exactly mentioned, right? Right now, if you're not able to type the exact name out, it does not show up. We are working on that fix, but yes, it's a part of the quarter what is coming forward.
And
I
Karthik,
can
do
take
not take that question because we are making some questions. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I can take the question on the app marketplace, Keith. I'm the product manager for the app marketplace, and we are currently working on improving the search experience. So we're working on two things: one, improving the search experience in app marketplace, and also bringing in the same search experience to the app reselling page for the agencies. Right today, there's a search completely missing there. So we completely understand those were real product gaps and really hampering the discovery of apps. And that's our priority for this week as we speak.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like the team's way ahead of everybody so far. Awesome work. Dora.
All right, quick question. I was curious, how far away is having spell check when we're writing letters and things like that?
Is that a
Can you give
search?
I didn't hear you.
Spell
What
check,
did you say?
like where? I mean,
Spell
the,
check.
the browser is
So,
gonna
like-
have spell check.
Well, so for example, when we're writing we have an automation and we're sending out an email or several emails, and I've noticed sometimes, my team or I might write something in the email and there's no spell check. There's nothing highlighted in red that says, oops, that's not spelled correctly. So I was just curious how far away that is. I did see it was in that area where you can request enhancements, but I was just curious how far
I
away
mean,
it is to
correct me
add.
if I'm wrong, but isn't this a browser level function, guys? Or maybe I'm not thinking about this right.
It can be Ryan implemented on the editors as well. What Dora has mentioned, for example, email editor or message editor, where you are entering it. And yeah, I mean, long story short, I mean, we don't really have that planned as of today, Dora. If you have that on the ideas board, can you please share that link, and we'll also have to talk to other product teams, because the editors again are used across different product areas. It is used in conversations, it is used in workflows. So we will have to collectively figure out a solution and then implement it. For it.
Yeah, actually, it is in there. If you do a search for spell check, there are actually several people have already entered it in there as a request.
I think.
All right, thank you.
Cool. Thanks. Yeah.
Yes, just a quick question. Is there any thought of adding a preview field for the email step, like what we have in the email marketing, as well as a reply to address in the email action steps?
Can you please repeat it? Sorry.
So she's asking if we're gonna do we have any plans to have a preview button similar to the way that the email builder works on the campaign level for workflows, so that they can just see what it's gonna look like?
Oh, a preview, preview header. Sorry, Ryan.
Oh, headers.
Yeah, the header. Preview header, like what we have in the email marketing, as well as reply to address.
Understood.
Got it.
We have added it to our roadmap. It might be part of Q3 if we have the bandwidth. Otherwise, it will be shifted to Q4. And same with the CC and BCC replies. It will be part of email enhancements only. So probably H2 for both of these things.
Cool.
How about the reply to address? So for example, I'm sending as me, Dea. The email is sent by Dea, but I want them to reply to a different email address.
That is not currently in the roadmap, dear. So we'll have to look into it, but I'll update you.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thanks.
All right. I think that's it for questions. We could move on to the next part.
Cool. Perfect. So I think Pallavi, Tulu. Yeah, Pallavi, go for it.
I'm sorry, I was speaking on mute. My bad. Yeah. Cool. So we'll be starting on with CRM now. And first up is contacts, opportunities. And we do have a bunch of updates for tasks and companies as well. Pardon me about my voice. Sorry, it's just, yeah. Cool. So starting on with a bunch of releases we recently made. The first and the biggest one I think we would want to talk about is the opportunity list view, a highly requested feature. And with this, this is currently in labs, so you'll need to enable it in labs first. And this is due to go live around 12th of August. With this, you will have a new list view option in opportunities. And this is how the opportunity list view will look like. This also has a bunch of other enhancements. So you can manage the fields that you see on the screen. You can sort based on many more columns. You can move these, have more features coming in, like smart lists and editing in cell, better advanced filters. These are all planned for the current quarter itself. So a bunch of enhancements on how the list view looks like. In fact, not just that, we also plan to bring in this list view eventually to contacts, companies, tasks, and custom objects. So we are looking forward to your feedback over here so that we can course correct as early as possible if there's any feedback on, how it looks like, how it works, and if there's anything that you'd like us to improve. So that's the first one. Next up is additional contacts per opportunity. So again, another, I think, very highly requested feature on Ideas board. So with this, you will be able to see this additional contacts option when you are creating or updating an opportunity. This is also live in labs right now, so you'll have to enable it over there first. And you'll be able to add up to 10 different contacts as additional contacts to your opportunities. And yeah, so that's the second one. This is also our like the ground work for building a bunch of associations. So going forward, you will be seeing a lot of different objects getting associated to each other, and that should be super helpful. So yeah, foot in the door with this one.
Will
The
we
next
be able to upload? Will we be able to upload all of those contacts? When we do a bulk upload.
Currently, it's not available with bulk upload for you to be able to upload multiple contacts. Is that the question?
Yeah, that's the question.
Yeah, bulk uploading might not be possible for multiple opportunities in one go, but noted, we do have something for bulk edit that I'll be talking about in a while. And we can see if we can scope this in the upcoming releases, but it's not there as of now. Thanks for the feedback.
Quick question. Is it possible for you guys to, on this card, throw in a contact modal preview rather than the button to completely navigate you away from this page?
I'm sorry, I could not, a contact, sorry.
So there's a primary contact in here. So if you click the little icon guy next to contact details, it navigates you away from this page. Can you guys do a quick preview modal so it doesn't take you to a whole nother page? Sometimes you just want to like quickly grab a phone number from it or something on that contact while you're looking at an opportunity.
Got it. We made a note. We are working towards that. We are trying to bring in more sidebars and easy navigation on the page itself. It's not planned for the current quarter, but we made a note of it and we'll see how we can prioritize that. But yeah, for now it's opening in the new tab, and thank you for the feedback.
And just to follow up on that, would you like to have a preview here itself, or would you also like to have a redirect option?
Say that one more time.
Would you rather prefer a preview here itself, or if clicking on the contact name take you to the new page altogether? Like, what do you prefer?
So yeah, right now it takes
Open
you
in
to
a
the
new tab.
page. So it's just something that's a quick population of the details. There is a third-party app that does this feature already. But I don't feel like paying hundreds of dollars just because I want 2 or 3 other features.
Got it. Cool.
Possible, can you share the name of the app, Brandon?
What is it? I think it's the marketplace. Marketplace app does it.
God, I think I'll drop you an email on the same. Also, Brandon, what are the exact fields that you're looking for? Because I mean, the primary email, the primary phone number, the tags are sort of already available on this page, right?
No. So you can't. So basically, what that other app does is it takes that actual contact detail, and then it populates it in a modal so that you can stay on the same page, quickly navigate through the contact's details and see anything. So I mean, they could have like maybe some kind of ID number that's on the contact because they're have some licensing or something like that. You can just quickly scroll through their contact details, grab that info, because people will be like, so my clients are actively viewing these cards, and there's some other stuff I wanted to ask about, but they're actively viewing these cards about all kinds of stuff for big application or big flow process of a sale. And so they need to be able to quickly jump into contact and see details from that contact that may not need to be on an opportunity sales card.
How about something like the preview, like the eye preview button when you go into the Max Finder? Like when you click on something and then you have the eye icon on the Finder, and then it will just pop up and then you'll see the details in it without really opening the item. Kind of like that.
So I think what that app is doing, that other third-party app, for them to be able to execute this, I think they're running some Java over top. So when the card gets populated, they're grabbing the contact ID number, the primary contact's ID in the database, and then going ahead and querying the contact detail pages. So all you're doing is just hitting the button to preview that, to display that. I mean, that's the technical side of it, I think, that they're doing. But as far as just being able to see the details on the contact without loading a whole new page or navigating away would be much more user-friendly, so you can stay on the contact or the opportunity area.
Got it. Makes sense, and we'll see. And also, if you could share the marketplace app name maybe later on, that'll be great as well. Awesome. I think Chris has a question.
Yeah, if I could just, I don't mean to jump in. I think Chris had his hands up, but just to what the gentleman was saying regarding the opportunity modal in general, it would be really, I think, great to be able to have a little more functionality in determining like what fields and such are on here. Specifically, in my case, we've like had to create a bunch of like opportunity fields, and we have them inside the modal. But like when my customer is speaking to a prospect or making a sale transaction or doing something, and he suddenly wants to update like a physical mailing address or something like that. So the challenge is, if you have opportunity fields in here, we're not updating the main contact address field unless you're building workflows and pushing mirrored information from one set of fields to another, which kind of seems really crazy and inefficient. If we could just go in here, like, for example, look at this modal. If I wanted to, I have a guy shipping parts out throughout the United States, for example, truck parts. So if he gets an address, or a guy says, ship it over here, do this, we want to be able to update that right in the modal. Like, we don't want to have to go back to the contact record and do that. That would make it much more functional at that point.
Yeah, updating a contacts custom field or a specific standard field directly from the opportunity instead of having to go there, right?
Yeah, direct. Yeah, because again, the address field that gets verified and that's works primarily for everything that you're doing with the contact is the address fields in the contact record. But if we are forced to create duplicate attributes for opportunities, like opportunity addresses that are just being used for that, it's just so much more work, and there's no continuity. I want to update the address field one time in one place, everywhere I can, anywhere I need to, for it to be right in the contact record.
Makes sense, Glenn. Got it.
Okay. Thank you.
Hey, before we move on, so my question, actually, Glenn kind of mentioned this, where we have these fields that show up on the opportunity modal, but what if, and I was actually asked this by a customer today, what if we could hide certain fields on the opportunity card based on the user role?
Got it. So like permissions on a field level?
Yeah, because the way it was posed, the question was posed was, if it's just like a regular user and not the admin of the location, they wanted the user to only be able to access like the name and like the email and nothing else.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Makes sense, Chris. Yeah, that's something we have been thinking about as well. And it's not currently planned for the current quarter. I'm hoping it's already on the ideas board for you guys, like which you have posted. And if not, I'd be happy if you could be posting so that we can prioritize accordingly. But noted, it's something that we have in the roadmap, not in the current quarter, but we surely want to make enhancements to custom fields also in the upcoming quarters.
Yeah, and one more thing they had, somebody posted it here in the notes, but I'm going to just say it. So yeah, the ability to be able to search opportunities by many more different attribute fields. For example, again, my customer is selling truck parts throughout the United States. He doesn't remember the guy's name or his business, but he knows that he quoted the guy $149, right? And he put that into an opportunity field. he wants to find that opportunity where I quoted that guy that number by that amount. So,
Glad
yeah.
Glad that you brought that up. That's something that we are working on in this current quarter. That's part of my presentation, and we'll be talking about that in a while.
Great. Thank you.
I think there's one more question, I think, there. So,
Yes, I don't know how complicated that is, but you know that when you open an opportunity card and then you have the tabs on the left-hand side, opportunity, book, update, appointment, task notes, is it going to be hard or complicated or unattainable if you add the contact details on the left-hand side? Because when you click on notes, whatever notes that you add on the opportunity card will update the notes field inside the contact details, the contact profiles, right? So what if you have the first column on the contact profile be available as well on the left-hand side of the opportunity card? Then it will be easier to view and update simultaneously the contact profile details instead of us clicking the contact and showing it on another tab.
makes sense. I think feedback taken there. I think we have multiple feedback on the same lines where we want to be able to access the contact information much faster. We'll go back to the drawing board. We'll find a solution for this in the most efficient way possible, and we'll get back to you guys.
Thank you.
Not in this quarter, but surely in the next one. Thank you so much. Cool. The next feature that we recently released was contact opportunity owner decoupling. So earlier, whenever you would update the opportunity owner, the contact owner would get automatically updated with the same person and vice versa. But now you have this setting. So you will be able to find it in sub-account settings, opportunities and pipelines, where you can decouple the contact and the opportunity owners. And you also have two different subsettings for this, where you can make the opportunity owner the follower of the contact automatically every time the opportunity owner is updated, and contact owner the follower of the opportunity automatically every time the contact owner is updated. So yeah, by default, this setting would be off, but yeah, you can enable it and make the settings changed however you'd want it. We also decoupled sources for contacts and opportunities in the last quarter. So that's also there. We also are planning to bring in owner and follower updates using workflows, and we'll be talking about that in the upcoming releases section as well. The next big feature is importing of opportunities. So this is again live in labs. This is scheduled to go live tomorrow, and you can find this feature in the 3 dots on the top right in opportunities with the option called import. And with this, you'll be able to import, create and update opportunities all in one go. And you can map the different opportunity fields with, basically you can use a CSV file to be able to import your opportunities if you want to create or update a bunch of opportunities at the same time. So yep, do please take a look and share any feedback that you might have on this. We are also planning on bringing a similar flow for contacts eventually. So looking forward to your feedback on the opportunity import so that we can enhance contact import and make it much better. So yeah, please do give it a try. Cool. So next is the bulk actions page. So with the import opportunities, we also brought in the bulk actions page under opportunities. So now you will be able to see the different bulk actions that are done for an opportunity in this particular page. And the stats, modal, and everything is also improved a little as compared to what we had in contacts earlier. And again, on similar lines, we plan to bring this updated page to contacts also eventually. So looking forward to any feedback that you might have so that we can course correct in advance. I think there's a question, Dia.
Yes, I do have a question on this bulk actions page. So let's say that I imported some contacts and then a certain contact is already existing in the system, but then I am not able to figure out who that specific person is.
Okay, so in the updated page, I can maybe, just give me a second. I'll see if I can. Okay, never mind. Maybe we can. I'll send in my meeting link, and maybe we can schedule it. But point was, when you click on the show stats option over here, you'll be able to see the different stats for the success, error, and the warnings that you might have had with the import flow. And there will also be an option to export the error file. So not just being able to see all of the different errors on screen, you will also be able to export that error file and be able to see what are the different errors you got and be able to fix them more easily than what you were able to do it in contacts earlier. This is currently for opportunities. We plan to bring in this for contacts eventually, but yeah.
Sorry,
Cool.
sorry.
Sorry, you were able to hear me, I am hoping.
Yep, I can hear you. No worries, go on. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Cool. There was one more bulk action that we recently launched for contacts, which was the bulk WhatsApp. So if you have WhatsApp enabled for your location, you will be able to send a bulk WhatsApp message to all of your contacts in one go, and you'll be able to track the success, delivery rates, open rates, etc. also for them. Next, we have updated a few already existing bulk actions and contacts, where we have also not just updated the architecture, but also the UX and the stats modal for you to be able to see them more seamlessly. So you can select multiple contacts, you can click on delete, and you'll be able to see a updated delete screen. And also for restore contacts, you will be able to see an updated restore flow. We have limited the deletion and the restoring for to 120K contacts per hour. But yeah, this is currently live. And similarly, there are two more actions that we have recently made updates to, which are add tags and remove tags in contacts. So again, so there's an updated architecture, there's an updated UX, there's an updated stats page and stats modal. So additionally, we have also given an option to remove all tags and restore the deleted tags, which were earlier not there. So yeah, you will be able to do all of that. Next is an enhancement from the form also we builder side, which also impacts us. So just quickly mentioning that from the form page, you will be able to quickly add fields and edit custom fields by just dragging and dropping them into the form. And this will actually end up creating a custom field in the contact section also for you. So a quick mention to that feature as well. And you will also have an option to see the documents and contacts in the documents and contracts in the contact detail view on the sidebar. So you can manage the draft and send documents and contracts within your contact details page directly going forward. So those were the releases that we recently made. And moving on to a few upcoming features that we are currently working on. First up is the ability to be able to rename existing objects. So this is a big one and highly requested one. I think a lot of requests came in for people who wanted to rename companies to, let's say, families or contacts to clients. And with this change, what will happen is you will be able to go into settings, and then you will be able to rename your standard objects like contacts, opportunities, and companies, and give them a new singular and a plural name. And once you save these changes, the updated name will start reflecting in almost all of the different parts of the platform. So that's one big change that we're making in this current quarter. The next is the option to edit the profile picture. So currently you can add a profile picture when you are creating a contact, but there's no option to edit it later on. But with this, you'll also be able to edit the profile picture as and when you want to. This one, I think, is what we were discussing earlier about, being able to search using different fields. And right now, everyone's constrained to being able to search using 5 or 6 fields only. With this change, you can select what are the different fields that you want to. So you can actually edit the searchable fields. There will be an upper cap of 6 searchable fields for contacts and opportunities. And you'll be able to select what are these 6 different fields that you would be wanting to search on. And this is completely customizable, so you can change it, but the change will reflect to the entire location. Next up is another highly requested feature, which is identifying duplicates and being able to merge them. So currently, you might be getting a lot of duplicates on your account. With this, you'll be able to search duplicates based on 3 different fields, and you can select one of them, email, phone number, or the full name, and you click on search duplicates, and that will allow you to see the different duplicates that exist in your system. And after that, you can select the ones that you want to merge. You can select a master record for all of these and be able to merge or just select, and the merging part stays similar. There is a quick merge that we want to introduce, but the main merging part stays similar to how it is right now, where you can select the different fields that you would want in the system. There's one more enhancement that we are bringing in the merge flow that has been highly requested, which is being able to merge multiple phone numbers or multiple email addresses into the same contact while you're merging different ones. So we also plan to include that with this particular release. Moving on, we are also working on enhancing the custom fields and the custom folders page, and bringing in updated flow. The functionalities mostly remain the same, but we also bring in fields like type and source and more filters. You will also be able to customize this a little. And yeah, functionality wise, not a lot of changes, but UX wise, we wanted to make it simpler. There are a bunch of bulk actions that we plan to introduce though. One of them is a highly requested one, which is bulk delete. And yeah, the editing and deleting also becomes a little easier with this one, because we plan to bring in 3 dots directly, and you can just click on this and edit, delete, move a single custom field without having to select and then go to the bulk action. So that's one enhancement we make to this one. Moving on to a few enhancements for opportunities. The first one is customizable opportunity card. So with this, you can select what are the different fields that you want to see on the opportunity card. Currently, you can customize it a little with the icons on the bottom and a few changes, but with this, it will become completely customizable, where you can select whatever fields you want. We are keeping an upper limit of around 7 fields currently on the screen. And the icons also are movable, customizable if you want to see them, not see them, or you can just remove everything. There are 2 views that we plan to bring in. One is with the labels and one is the no label view, which is more compact in nature. So you'll be able to see more fields in a same UX. So yeah, one big enhancement that's going to come up quite soon. Next is the bulk edit of opportunity that I was talking about earlier. So with this, you will be able to select multiple opportunities and then be able to bulk edit all of them. And with bulk edit, you will be able to update their pipeline, their stage, the value, owner, follower, all of those fields. And this also brings in one more enhancement to an already. So I think we have received a lot of requests where you want to move multiple opportunities to a different pipeline. And currently, what it does is actually create duplicate of that opportunity in the new pipeline. But with this bulk edit option, you'll be able to select multiple opportunities and move them to the other pipeline with all of your changes included. Cool. Next up in smart opportunity is what I was talking about earlier with the list view, that we plan to bring in smart lists. We plan to bring in an editing cell in the list view, and also a more advanced version of the advanced filters, where you can play with more and more options, and it'll become closer to what we have for contacts right now. We also plan to bring in a bunch of workflow actions. I think Shrikant already talked about the find opportunity one. So I just want to talk about the other ones that would be following this. So after find opportunity, you will be able to go down to this particular opportunity and then take a bunch of more actions on the final opportunity that you selected, which would include a separate create and update. So currently there's one combined create/update opportunity action that exists. We'll be splitting them into 2 different actions, one for create and the other one for update, because what we have received feedback on so far has been there has been confusions about what that action will eventually do. So we wanted to split that into 2 so that you always know what is going to happen to your opportunity. And apart from that, a bunch of other actions for adding and removing owner and adding and removing followers. This is a continuation to the enhancements that we did to decouple the owners and followers for opportunity. Decouple the owners for opportunities. Cool. Next up is a few enhancements on tasks. So we are also updating the tasks list view to this to a similar UX, and then we plan to bring in more filters and also smart lists for tasks, at least so that you can just quickly go to the tasks that are due today or overdue. We also plan to bring in a bit of enhancement to the creation of task, and we move it to the sidebar, and you also get this option to create and add another quickly so that you don't have to close this and then click on add new to keep on creating new tasks. So those are the enhancements on task page. The next is recurring tasks. So this is very close to release. What we will do is bring in a recurring task option. I'm so sorry. To your adding a new task, or whenever you want to update a new task. With this enabled, you can firstly repeat a task after every X number of days, hours, or weeks, however you'd want. You also have an option to customize the end date. So you can keep it to never, or you can keep it to a certain date, or even to after a certain number of occurrences. So if you would want it to end after 4 occurrences, you can even do that. Plus, there's an additional setting to want to create a new task if your previous task is overdue or not. So depending on your use case, you can actually customize this recurring task setting also to whatever you need. So that's the second one. And the third is a daily task reminder. So currently we do have a bunch of reminders for tasks. We also plan to bring in 2 new summary reminders. One would be with the due task details, and the second one would be with the overdue task details. So if you schedule this, you'll be able to receive emails with the different tasks that you might have due on that day or the next one, or the overdue ones on that day. We also have planned a bunch of upgrades to company. So some of them, to call them out, are I think the highest requested one is the custom fields. So that's there. Apart from that, we also plan to bring in this similar list view, advanced filters, smart list, sorting, being able to manage the different columns, move them left, right, center, and import as well in this current quarter itself. Cool. And the rules for custom objects, I think one of the highest talked about and requested feature currently. So what's up with custom objects? So currently we are running a beta for custom objects where we have some features that we've already rolled out and some features that we're currently working on. What we have in the beta right now and are being able to, create up to 3 different custom objects in a sub account. You can see the list view of that custom object. You can add new records to that custom object, being able to edit them. You can also create custom fields for the custom object that you've created, and you can customize it based on whatever you want. So these are already there along with the list view, where we are also adding features like smart lists and advanced filters and all of those. And next up, we have associations that will be rolling out to the beta customers quite soon. With associations, you will be able to associate a custom object to another custom object or contact of your choice, and vice versa. So you can also associate your contacts to custom objects. So you can create a label for the association first. So for example, if you want to link contacts to pets, you will be able to call that label a contact be the owner and the pet to be the pet. And you can also use those labels when you are adding these associations, or basically adding the different contacts associations to that particular pet. So you'll be able to do that. You can also associate 2 different custom objects with each other with this release. And this currently we are rolling it out in a many-to-many fashion. So you'll be able to associate both the objects in a many-to-many manner. And then later on, we plan to bring in one-to-one and one-to-many options as well. Next is also workflows, where we are working on a bunch of workflows for custom objects. Some of them being, and the triggers for them will be object created, object is changed, and inbound webhooks for the trigger bit of it. And for the actions, you'll be able to create object, update object, or the associated object to that particular object, clearing it or clearing the associated object fields. And then the internal actions that already exist for contacts would also be there, like the webhook, the Google Sheets, if else suite, all of those. Yep. So that's about contacts, opportunities, tasks, companies, and custom objects.
Could I have a question about company objects?
Sure.
Yeah, so when is the company object going to actually be um simply accessible, like from the contact record? Like right now, you when you look at a contact in that left column, we have the different tabs, of different information for contacts. You have a tab there called company, but you
Right.
can't really do anything there. You have to go into the secondary navigation to company to update like a company address or do anything that's related, the attributes related to the company. They're like memo fields. They did why I just don't know. Why is it not, why is the company object not actually just like another section really off of the contact object? So we could update things very simply.
Got it. So I think this is also in similar lines to, being able to access contacts directly from opportunities. So we also plan to make the UX a little simpler. So similar to how you can see these associations screens right now for objects, we plan to bring in something similar for contacts also. So you can see companies directly on the right and access them in an easier fashion. We don't have the option currently to be able to edit them right here, but point and feedback taken. Let us go back to the drawing board and let us try to find
Yeah, but what is the
solution so that you can not just be able to access them, but also be able to edit them right then and there without having to move to different parts of the platform. Makes
Yeah, I
sense.
mean, what is the purpose of them there? I mean, if you're looking at the contact attribute, features that the cell fields, and then you click the tab, the company, again, you can't do anything within there. So what is it? Why is it there? Is it there for a future thing, or is it just you put it there, but then you still have to go to that separate navigation panel into companies to add anything related to the company? I just don't understand because what's happening is customers go into contact record, go, oh, here's the company stuff, and they click on it and they go to try to type anything in there and they can't do anything. It was like, why is this here? What is it? What's the purpose of it?
We understand, Glenn. I think the idea behind adding it there was to be able to like group different contacts into a company and being able to access information about how are they grouped and what is the company that they're all a part of, and being able to access, at least view that information, if not edit. But we understand that editing would make it even more powerful for you. And yeah, we will
Well, and you can't,
we'll
and the
see
problem is you
how
can't
we
access.
make it
And the problem
powerful.
is you can't access any other contacts associated with that company. You have to go out of that out of that customer record, click the second navigation at the top. It says company to go there to see if there are multiple contacts associated with that. You can't even view it from the contact record. So it just kind of seems odd to me. It's just, it's there and you guys could, make use of it and allow, like if I'm looking at one particular contacts record and there's two or three other contacts involved in that company, I should have simple access right from there to go to them instead of having to go to a whole nother tab, basically. It just seems like it was added, but then never like built out. And I know you're doing
Right, right.
custom objects, and I think that's great, but I'd love to see the company object get kind of fixed before we throw more stuff in the mix that is going to make the dev go jump through hoops again. It's like, let's get the company object working where I can see all the contacts associated. I can see the notes from multiple contacts, all of the same company, all in one place. I could see the tasks associated with it in one place. Can't do that, any of that stuff.
Makes sense. So okay, but we are taking that feedback very seriously again. And this quarter we are working a lot on companies and being able to give that all the functionality that we've talked about. Custom objects will also be there for companies, starting on with custom fields and associations, and then to keep on making it more powerful. We also plan to bring in import in the current quarter. So we plan to make companies much more powerful than what it is right now, and you will start seeing a lot of changes starting this quarter itself. For sure.
Okay.
And the feedback taken, being able to access and edit it, and we'll see how we can make it, fastest and easiest.
Okay. I mean, thank you. I'm just, I've been 3+ years with High Level. I've been waiting. My whole business model depends on the CRM, and it's been a hard 3 years, as many of the people on this call know me personally. But yeah, I just love to see that stuff get like finished or built to a point of being functional as opposed to just kind of a tease being put there and not being able to do anything with it.
Makes
Thank you.
complete sense.
We
Thank
hear
you so
you.
much.
We hear you.
Yeah.
Yep, Dear, I think you have a question.
Yes, I just wanted to know if in Q3 you're also planning to update the functionality of the contact import, because
Right. So,
currently it's not congruent with the deduplication preference in the settings.
right. So yeah, like I was talking about import opportunities. So we released that first, and
Oh
it's
no, not opportunities.
yeah, I'm just talking about
Contacts.
we want
This is
to
related.
update
Okay.
the contacts import to a very similar flow. And the second thing that you'll be seeing very soon is importing contacts plus opportunities, and eventually we'll also have import contacts using the same updated and enhanced flow by the end of this quarter. So that's planned.
Okay, so when you say that the import of the contacts will be also updated in here, does it mean
By
that
the end of this
when I choose in the contacts and then I import, when I choose the email and then the phone, it will behave the same as the duplication preference, which means that if there is no email but there's a phone in my CSV, it will check first the email and then it will check also the phone to see if there's duplicate based on the phone. Because what happens right now is if I import and the email field is my primary preference and then the email field is blank, it will still import even when there's already an existing contact with the same phone number. That's the issue we're having right now on the import.
So you want no email to also be considered so that phone check also happens even if the email didn't exist.
Yes. So if like checking the email as well as the phone, if it's already existing in the system, if it's already
Shouldn't that be
existing,
how it already works, Guru and
no,
Pallavi?
sir.
Like, what am I missing here? Why won't we be doing that?
honestly, yeah.
I mean, it's a quick fix and we should run that down because if the email field is blank, of course, it should check phone, right?
Right. Makes sense. We'll
check.
surely check that in fact today itself and get back to you. Okay?
Thank you.
Cool. I guess we're done with the questions, and thank you so much, everyone.
Oh, sorry. Can I have one more thing, please? Is it possible that we do not auto expand the tags when you go into the contact profile? Because currently when you go inside, the tags is auto expanded. Can we unhide or, collapse it, not auto expand? If that's a quick fix or something.
We'll check that out, Dia.
That's interesting because I think the problem was in the past that if it wasn't expanded, people were creating new tags on the fly and you were having duplicate tags all the time. So by expanding it, you can see if there's one in there that matches, what you're trying to tag that contact with.
Because we currently have contacts that has like 50 plus tags.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. Yeah.
Just use less tags.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an interesting problem. I could see something where there's like a persistent state of like if you expand it, that it just stays that way, but that seems a little complicated.
Yeah, I think we'll look in the same way, wherein if you have done a state once, we'll try to store that state for the next time you keep viewing it on the same browser so that you have the same experience. But yeah, you will have to do it once and then it should stick around for the next period of time.
Okay, cool. Chris, you got something?
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure this is the monthly town hall, so I just want to ask on progress regarding form logic, where let's and I brought it up a few times over the past few months, but I'm just looking, if there's any progress being made on it, where the form logic, if you have a contact that has a pre-existing value for a custom field, and you tell the form logic to disqualify if that field has a certain value. Like a radio option, yes or no. If the radio is yes, disqualify the contact when they submit the form.
Got
And
it.
I was told that it's possible, and I've gone on private looms, and I forgot what his name is.
I think, Chris, the easy way to do that might be to
Yeah.
add a input field to the form and pre-fill it with a existing value and use it in the form conditions. I get the issue here because the validation right now happens on the front end.
Yeah.
So the disqualify, qualify logic happens on the front end, and when it's submitted, the contact is always created. There's no logic on the back end.
Right.
And if that field isn't pulled in to the front end, then I can see why that wouldn't work. I'm almost certain that if you do an input field on the form and you hide it and you put in the value from one of the existing fields, it should add the value to the form as an hidden field, and you should still be able to disqualify based off it.
Well, the problem is the form is going to be presented to the public, so anyone can fill it out. And so if we hide it, if we hide the
Got
field,
it. So you're not sending the link to someone, it's really on the public page.
yeah.
Got it. I mean, I'll check in with the team on this, and Sid, maybe you can throw a message in the product channel and I'll fill Prakar in on the rest. But I'll run this down.
Yep.
Please.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Varun.
That's service right there. Dia, you have something else?
Yes, sir. Sorry. So, yep. I just wanted to ask is it easy to add in the contacts profile the functionality that you have in the opportunities, where the created section in the opportunities at the bottom, that blue line there is clickable. Can you bring that over to the contacts profile?
Got it. Yep, I think we should be able to do that. I'll check in the team and see if we can. I'm like, if it's a quick fix, and we can do that soon.
Yep. Yes, that will be awesome, because currently it's not clickable, so it's harder to identify if, let's say, the contact profile says at the bottom, created by workflow new, but then what's that workflow new or something? So, but in the opportunities, you'll be able to click that created by line. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Think.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Anything else? Go ahead.
Good. Cool. So I think we can move on to the next module.
Okay.
And I think thanks, everyone, for the feedback on the CRM front. So now moving on to some of the AI products that we are working on. Starting with the conversation AI product that we have on our end. So now we'll talk about some of the few features that went live over the last 1 quarter and what we have planned up in the coming quarter, in the coming 2 months of Q3 as well. So the initial things that went out was edit and manage your prompt, where you're able to now edit the prompt, see what the prompt is, and also make edits to it. So I'll give a few examples of what customers have started doing. For example, they want to let their customers know that for any cancellations or rescheduling, you have an email that was sent, and that email has a URL. So they're able to add those messages that says, we have sent you a confirmation email that has the rescheduling and the cancellation links. Kindly use them if you want to cancel or reschedule. They're also able to add questions and make the bot follow those questions more closely. For example, what is your name? What is your email? What is your phone? And when those questions are added by you, the bot asks those questions, and based on the answers, we also update the custom field, which I'll talk about in the later stage. You're also able to give name to the bot, give it more context, more personality. You want it to be more sarcastic, more open, make jokes, or be more formal, informal, etc. by managing a prompt, both for the general support and Q&A prompt and also the appointment booking prompt. So you can have a different personality of the bot in the appointment flow and a different one in the normal support. But if you want to have same, you can have them as same as well. The next one we launched was a skip action in a skip toggle in the conversation AI action. So a lot of the times your question would be, are you looking to grow your business? And the contact would actually start the conversation with, yes, I'm looking to grow my business. And this skip action essentially allows the AI to detect if the intent is already met or the branch is already met, and it directly sends the contact down the respected respective branch without repeating its question again. The next one is multiple messages in conversation AI action. So there were two issues that was raised to us through support tickets, and this was one of the feedback that we picked up as soon as we were able to, wherein a lot of your workflows were getting loop logged because the loop log has a limit of 3 messages in every 5 minutes. But in channels like SMS or Facebook, the messages were more than 3 in 5 minutes and your workflows were stopping. So we've added a bot response limit, which is sort of multiple messages that the bot will do before it meets its intent or meets its branch, or before it goes to the no condition met. So using this, the contact will stay on that same action and keep conversing with the particular contact, so that for the number of messages that you have set up, it will check if it is able to meet an intent. If not, only and only then will it go to the no condition met. We have full language support for other languages. So there were two problems while you were training your bot in other languages. Number one, there were certain confirmation messages. Great, you are booked for, I don't have enough information. Sorry, that's taken. Those were still coming up in English and were not coming up in the language that the bot was already talking in. Now we have removed all of those English messages, and any message that the bot will do will be in the native language that the contact is essentially talking to. So you can either use the prompt to tell the bot to only talk in French, but if your contact is also only talking in French, the bot will continue to have a fully native level language without the requirement of any confirmation message in English coming up. The second one was there were certain languages that don't have full stops and spaces, or I'll say commas or separators, due to which the bot training was getting failed for those languages. Now we have made enhancements to that bot training where any other language will also be supported, and the bot will be trained, and your prompt can definitely be edited by you as well. Other two enhancements that went live in the last 3 months were, the first one was update contact name. So we were already updating the email and phone, but name was something that we were not updating. And I think in live chat, it was becoming quite a big issue where appointments are getting booked without the name even coming in. But now, because you have the prompt, you can make the contact ask, you can make the bot ask the contact its name. And as soon as the name is provided, that name gets updated to the contact within a few messages. So it doesn't happen instantly. It happens within a few messages while the conversation is happening or just before the appointment gets booked. So an appointment will not get booked. Hold on. Yeah. So an appointment will not get booked till the contact name is not updated. The second one is changing intent to support when appointment is already booked. So as soon as the appointment gets already booked, the bot switches its intent to support and continues to have a conversation by helping them with any response that it can from the knowledge base or from the URLs that you have essentially trained the bot on. Previously, the bot would keep continuing to book an appointment. Now the bot only tries to book an appointment once. Once it is booked, it goes to support. Then it waits for the appointment to either get cancelled or get rescheduled or get deleted or get completed. Once that happens, the intent automatically switches back to appointment booking and it tries to book the next appointment for that particular contact. So now we have the upcoming releases that we have planned in the next 2 months, which is the month of August and September. The first one is a new appointment booking workflow action. So you will now be able to use the same appointment booking that you were able to do with Conversation AI within your workflow. It will be a new appointment booking Conversation AI action. You'll have the personality, additional instructions, maximum messages, a timeout for which how long you want the bot to continue. And we have certain things below as well. But the action would sort of come up like this, where it will be a single action. And that action will have 3 branches. The first one is timeout. The second one is appointment was booked. And the third one is appointment not booked. So it goes into the timeout branch. If the contact doesn't reply within that particular time of period, you can then set up a go-to back to the same action if you want the bot to keep following up, or if you want to then leave the attempt and probably have some other assistant come in, you can do that as well. The second one is appointment was booked. So as soon as the customer, so the bot asks the customer when do they like to book a slot. The customer provides a day, a date, or ASAP. The AI bot then suggests a slot on that particular day or that particular period that the contact requested. And then once the contact provides a slot that is relevant to them, the bot books the appointment on the calendar. As soon as the appointment is booked, the bot sends them a confirmation message and goes down this particular branch. You can then set up notifications, internal messages, reminders accordingly based on this branch. Now, there may be cases where your contact may get frustrated and not want to book an appointment, where they are not willing to book an appointment anymore. They were willing to book an appointment previously. This is where the bot will see and try to push the contact 2 to 3 times before it exits in this branch. But exiting in this branch will mean that the contact has now given up on booking an appointment and has clearly said that they're no longer interested or no longer want to book an appointment. And this is essentially a safeguard so that you're not pushing your customers and your customers are having, or your contacts are having a better experience with the AI bot itself. Cool. New bot settings when appointment is booked. So there are 2 new settings which are coming up when your appointment will get booked in the conversation AI bot. The first one is send the bot to sleep when appointment is booked. What this does is, as soon as the appointment will get booked, the bot will go to sleep. There's no support, there's no new appointment booking, and the bot just exits the conversation. So you can do this when you don't want the bot to talk more once the appointment is booked and you want your user to get to take over. The second one is trigger a workflow when appointment is booked. So this is the first condition using which you will be able to do an agent handover. I think this is one of the biggest things that a lot of customers were waiting for. So as soon as an appointment gets booked, you can trigger any number of workflows that you want to be triggered for that particular contact. And then you can have internal notifications, messages, tasks, etc. already set up for your internal users using this trigger a workflow. But yes, for now, it is only intent based, and that intent is booking an appointment. Good. Moving on. View and edit crawled URL info. So we got a lot of tickets where we would crawl your website, but you would not know what information we got from a website. The bot would respond and you would not again know was the bot's response right, wrong, or where that information come from. So the first thing that we have done is in the bot training, you will be able to open up the URL, and in that URL, you'll be able to see this modal where you are able to see all the text that was crawled and when was it last crawled. You can essentially start making your edits here, and any edit that you make gets retrained. So any information that was either outdated or wrong or came up because of wrong HTML can now be updated by you and corrected so that the bot performs better. And drawing on the same lines, we wanted to increase the transparency of the bot to let you know where the bot got its response, what were the FAQs or the URLs that you had essentially trained the bot with. So what will happen, you'll see a new icon beside your thumbs up and thumbs down across every AI message. And when you click on it, you will see 3 essential things as soon as you open it up. The first thing will be the prompt. So the prompt that you had configured for your sub account that went to the particular bot. The second one you would see would be the intent on which that particular bot is currently running. And the third one are the knowledge chunks. So these are the 3 knowledge bases that the bot has used to generate a response. If it's an FAQ, you will see the FAQs. If it's a website chunk or a website URL information, you will see that as well. And all of these, so this will help you now also check what changes you could make to either the prompt or the knowledge base or the FAQs for a much better response from the bot itself. So this will help you audit your own responses and give a much better training and a prompt to the bot in real time as well. AI bot status for each contact. So now there'll be, as soon as you have autopilot mode enabled in your sub account, in each of the channel, you will see a small bottom right pop-up, or I'll call an overlay, which is the icon for our AI bot, and it'll have a green dot if it is active. You can also put it in inactive and it'll sort of have like a small moon where it's sort of sleeping or at night. And this essentially allows you to first know what is the current state of the AI bot on a contact. Many times the bot goes to sleep because a limit has been hit, or you sent a manual message, or a workflow sent an automated message. Many times you don't want the bot to speak, but you don't know if the bot will speak or not. And the bot ends up sending a message while you are typing one as well. So this helps you understand what is the current status of your bot is on each contact and then manage them at a contact level itself. So you can take an active bot to an inactive status for just a single contact and do vice versa as well. With time, we'll also start supporting smart list filters for this. So then you'll be able to filter all your inactive or your active contacts and then make changes accordingly as well. Cool. Snapshots for conversation AI. So another thing that we got from a lot of customers were, we have made changes to our prompts. We have URLs, we have FAQs, but it's becoming very difficult for us to copy paste this to all of our sub accounts. So now you'll see a new asset class called conversation AI, and you'll have 3 things into this asset class. The first one is called bot training FAQs. The second one is called bot training URLs. And then the third one is called prompts. So you can choose which ones you want to move from one sub account to another. And the ones that you chose will automatically be loaded into that sub account from day one. So you can have very generic FAQs, very generic prompt, and then scale it up to all of your sub accounts using custom snapshots and then custom values as well. So bigger way of using this is you can use custom values in prompts. And you can have your business owners just update the custom values, so they don't have to worry about the prompts, FAQ, URLs. All of that is run using custom variables, and those custom variables are something that your business owners or your clients would actually have to change every time you load it into their snapshot. Good. Live chat and WhatsApp channel in the workflow conversation AI action. So the workflow conversation AI action currently only works on 3 channels: SMS, Facebook, and Instagram. We got a lot of requests for these 2 channels, which is live chat and WhatsApp. And these 2 channels are essentially in QA and should be available by next week as well. And as soon as that is done, you can then just change channel or duplicate a workflow and change the channel to WhatsApp and live chat, and whatever you have been doing till now with SMS, Facebook, Instagram, you will be able to do that with these 2 channels as well. Other enhancement that you would see come up by the end of September is custom intent to trigger workflows and stop conversation AI bot. So these are essentially agent handovers that you can define when you would want the bot to hand over a conversation to an agent. And in our case, the agent currently we are defining as a workflow so that we're able to set up tasks, notes, change AI bot status using workflows itself. The second one is multiple bots in the same sub account. So currently you are only able to set up one bot, and that one bot only has one intent, either support or appointment booking. Very soon you'll be able to set up multiple bots, and then each of those bots could have different intents, and you can essentially hand over conversations from one bot to another. So you can have one person as lead generation, one person as appointment booking, and one person as post appointment or a post sales service bot, and have the conversation like moved between all the 3 of those bots. Now, because you will have multiple bots, you will need multiple knowledge bases for the bot. So an appointment booking bot may not need to have leads and answering questions, may not need to have post sales answering questions, but yes, you'll be able to create multiple knowledge bases and then link those knowledge bases to individual bots so that you are able to control the information that you're giving a particular bot. The fourth one is form filling or update contact field workflow action. So you'll have 2 new workflow actions come up, which will be a form filling where you could just define the fields that you would want the bot to ask, and the bot will essentially ask those information and update that in the particular custom fields. And the second one is the intent detection, where you will be able to use AI within the current intent types that you're using in your if else and in your message type, which are currently on an older AI. We'll be able to upgrade that to a newer AI using the current elements. Yes, Steve. Steve, you're on mute if you're speaking.
Steve, what's up?
Sorry about that. Sorry. Sorry, man. Hey, couple questions. In regards to the new live feature coming, does that eliminate the 2-minute wait then that is on the conversational AI?
The 2-minute wait is again configurable, Steve. So you can actually change that. So now because you have a status as well, you can change that 2 minutes to even 1 second or 2 seconds if you don't want the bot to wait, because you'll be able to control the status on your own. But yeah, that 2 minutes is editable from 1 second to a max of 5 minutes.
Okay, so maybe I'm wrong then, because I thought the minimum was 2 minutes.
Yeah, so I can actually show you if I have that available with me right away. But yeah, so this 2 minutes is configurable. You can have it as low as 1 second as well.
Got it. Okay. All right. And then the other question I have is there going to be an intent? We talked about this before. We have booking intent, we have support. Is there going to be an intent coming that would push to create the intention to fill out a form?
Yes. So so we are not calling that an intent. We're actually calling that. So that intent can be defined by you. We are just going to give you a feature called update contact field, and you can choose what contact field to update with what information, and you will be able to create your own intent. So today, if you see in the prompts, you're not able to edit the intent. The intent is non-editable. In a custom intent, you will be able to define what the bot is supposed to do, and then give it these powers, which are update a contact field, trigger a workflow when X happens, trigger a workflow when Y happens, go to sleep if Z happens. So you will now be able to control the 3 aspects. What is the intent? What happens when different intents are met? And then what is the overall prompt of the bot?
Got it. So instead of sending them to the form, it will essentially, they'll be completing the form within the bot itself.
Yes. On the other hand, if you want the bot's intent to send them to a form, that will also be something that you will be able to configure on your own. So we'll provide these as templates where you can probably, and I think these provide me good feedback as well in terms of templates, and those templates can be used by you. But yes, even without the template, you can use a custom intent and define these three things. What is the prompt, what is the intent, and what the bot is supposed to do.
Got it. Thank you. Great updates, by the way.
Thanks, Chief. Any other questions, guys? Cool. If not, we had a small sneak peek for you guys for something that you should be able to see in the quarter as well.
I've seen this. It's really cool.
Thanks, Ryan. So this is the voice AI assistants or the AI assistants that you will be able to create and handle inbound calls at first, but also handle outbound calls at a later stage. So I'll quickly take you through, not to spend much time. I know we are short on time today, but quickly take you through the basic flows that are currently available in like what we're testing and then what will also come in the future. So the simple thing is create an AI assistant where we'll ask you for information, business details, agent goals, and the phone and availability. And if you fill up those details, your AI agent is essentially available. Inbound calling is something that we'll support in the first release. Outbound calling is something that will come up with time. The second one is set up personality, intent, and actions. So you'll be able to set up. So there's a basic bot that will be very easy for an SMB to set up, but we're also giving you the power of advanced goal at the same time, wherein you're able to manage the entire prompt of that particular AI bot. Along with the prompt, you're able to set up 4 key actions that you can define when should they happen and what should that action do. So the first action is call transfer. You will be able to tell us when to transfer the call and who to transfer the call to. So you can tell us if the contact wants to talk to sales, call them at 1, 2, 3. If the contact wants to talk to marketing, send them at 4, 5, 6. And if it's service, send them at 9, 8, like 9, 8, 7. Similarly, you will be able to tell us trigger a workflow, and you will tell us when should we trigger a workflow and choose the workflow that you want to be triggered. So things like trigger a workflow when the contact is angry, trigger a workflow when the contact says that their budget is more than $1,000, trigger a workflow when the contact is interested in booking an appointment. So you'll be able to set up scenarios, and then on those scenarios being met, the workflows get triggered. The third one is end call, wherein you can decide when the call should end. Should the call end when a certain criteria is met? For example, the contact wants to talk to a real human. The contact is very angry and does not want to talk to you anymore. Or do you want it to end after a certain period of time, as in 5 minutes, seconds of silence, or 10 seconds of silence, or X seconds of silence? And the fourth one is update contact field. So what information on the contact do you want to get updated and what that information is? So that's setting up the personality, intent, and actions. The third one is assigning a phone number and an agent working hours. So you can assign a phone number from all the phone numbers that are bought in the sub account, which are not used in IVR. So you can only use phone numbers which are not used in IVR. IVR numbers cannot be used here. And similarly, voice AI numbers cannot be used in IVR as well. And you'll be also able to set up working hours for the bot. So because it's an inbound bot, our goal was to sort of create an answering service for you with an AI assistant powering that answering service. So you can set up, let's say, off hours within your weekdays and sort of weekends, whole weekends, if that's how your business runs, or do it any way that you would want to do and set it up for multiple days of the week. And that will help the bot only pick up calls during that hours, while on the other hours, it will continue going to this user or continue going to any other place that it was previously going to. The fourth one is test your AI agent. So as soon as you've done all of these things and provided all of this information to us, you'll be able to place a call and test that agent right there and there itself. As soon as you place a call, the dialer will open up with the call already started, and the bot will pick up the call, and you'll be able to test the same flow in the way that you are calling the AI agent. The last one is manage all your AI agents. So you'll be able to see all your AI agents. And again, on day one itself, you'll be able to create multiple agents, set them multiple agents for either have one agent for 3 phone numbers, 3 different agents for 3 different phone numbers, and then also manage them, see when you last updated them, see the ones that are live, what the direction they are, and what was the name of the agent that you have created them for. Cool. Any other questions on this? But yeah, you should be seeing a public release of this somewhere in the next month. Cool.
Amazing. I really like this one for the argument of like, hey, I don't employ somebody to answer my phones all the time or when I'm busy. You know, I think this will solve a lot of like really basic use cases, and as it gets better, you can probably do even some setting type stuff. But really excited to see this kind of used as like some basic functionality of like an answering service, you know, while people are on the job or whatever.
Speaking of that, Ryan, would that mean that we are going to be moving into having hours and timing of these things being on and off on the sites?
On this sites as in Steve?
So in other words, you can set that, forget it. There it is right there.
Come on. We've already thought of all this. We're not completely inept. Cool. Well, I guess we answered that one. More to come on all that, but it'll be coming out soon. I think that's all we've got to present today, right, team?
No, I think we do have a couple of modules. So I think I'll just, there's another
Okay.
slide for AI front. So if you have Sai on the call, so Sai, you can take it up from here.
Okay, cool.
Thanks, Brew. Hi, everyone. I'm Sai Rutvik. I've joined High Level fairly recently as a product manager for Support AI. Just wanted to quickly touch base upon the Support AI module. We have, I think, a lot of you have been using this, have looked through this, but just wanted to quickly touch base. So the support bot, which we call Highly, has been integrated to power itself with AI, and obviously Highly answers all of your questions with taking the knowledge base into account, which approximates to 1,100 articles. And we are trying to improve the knowledge base altogether and add more appropriate prompts to make the answers more relevant and more user friendly. As of today, Highly provides, 3 articles at the best that helps you resolve your issues right away. But going forward, we'll make it even crisp, even easier to consume. But yeah, I would really want to get your feedbacks. Please, drop in your emails to the mail ID mentioned over here if you have any questions, any suggestions on top of this. And yeah, I'll be very happy to talk about it. The next time we'll be meeting, we'll have more things to discuss on the Support AI front. One thing that is a quick request is whenever you're using the bot, since you understand that it is AI powered, do provide a feedback which will help us understand the consumption of the answers by you and improve that appropriately.
Cool.
Thank you.
Perfect. I think this is all we had from the AI front. Over to Siddharth and Karthik.
Karthik, go for it.
Hey everyone, I'm Karthik and I manage marketplace and integrations products for High Level. The integrations product also includes the user management, and that's something we'll also be covering today. So let's start with all the things that we released over the past couple of months. The one which we released fairly recently is the app free trial, and this is a very important one in terms of the marketplace adoption, right? So developers can configure anything between 1 to 90 days of free trial. And essentially, when you install the app, you'll have that many days of free access, unlimited access to the app, post which you'll be charged based on the plan you've selected, right? This is critical because one, it enables adoption of apps. And second, we have received many instances where dissatisfied customers reach back to us seeking refunds. And this feature aims to avoid that altogether. The next one, which is also related to pricing, is flexible pricing options. So the marketplace has a unique distribution model called the agency and sub-account, in which case the agency installs the app onto the sub-accounts, right? They can choose to install it either to one or multiple sub-accounts at a time. In this particular model, there was a need for developers to provide, tailor the pricing at, the agency and the sub-account level. So one common use case here is the developers provide the app free of cost to the agencies while they charge only for the sub-accounts. And with this release, we have now enabled those flexible models going forward, right? So the developers can choose to either make the app free for the agency or the sub-account, vice versa. Next, we have app collections. These are curated list of apps, which High Level has defined to make discovery of apps easy. Some of these collections are top installed apps, new and noteworthy, which have been recently published, top free apps, top paid apps, workflow automation hub, which means custom apps which have the custom workflow actions and triggers, custom experience hub, which is apps which have custom web experience with custom JavaScript, etc., and the conversation hub, which is basically conversation provider. So you can now discover the top apps in each of these segments and install them and try them out. The next one is payment providers in the app marketplace. This is a new module we have launched, right? So this is an important one because it allows us to grow geographically and also essentially, virtually now support any payment provider across the globe. Key features, one, the ease of integration, right? All you need to do is install the app, head over to your payments integrations page, and just like your existing provider, just swap it out and opt for the custom provider that you have downloaded. The second is wide compatibility. This works with almost all use cases that you would need within Go high level, be it order forms, e-commerce stores, payment links, one-time invoices, etc. Third is comprehensive features. So all the existing features that you have with our native solution today will also be available with the custom payment providers, which is taxes, coupons, etc. And finally, versatile payment models. This supports one-time recurring payments, etc. Right. So with this, we have launched our own app, which is the Razorpay, which is one of the top payment providers in India. But we are now open, and developers can now come and build their own payment providers anywhere across the globe and enable Go high level to grow. Next, private integrations for sub accounts. So this is essentially API keys that you've already been using, but it is different in two ways. One, it's a lot more secure, and two, it's a lot more powerful. How is this secure? The private integrations is built on the OAuth, which is used in API v2, right? This is the same technology which is used by the app marketplace. However, managing these tokens or keys is a lot more complex. So what we have done is kind of brought it to the web interface within the Go high level app and made it accessible for you to generate the tokens. And while generating, provide the security constraints, right? Scopes is one of the most important constraints. You get to decide what a developer who has access to this token can do. With API keys, they had access to your entire account. But now you can say, hey, allow my developer only to manage or view contacts. Let him not even edit the contacts, right? That's one level of security. The second one is token management. If you have access tokens, there are some best practices that you need to follow, which is your token rotation. It's advised that you keep rotating your token once in 90 days. And we have enabled these rotation as out-of-the-box features, right? So if you can see at the top, left, right, bottom of the screen, we have rotate and expire this token now. This is useful if you know that the token has been compromised and you want to swap it out with the new one immediately, versus rotate and expire this token later. If this is a scheduled 90-day rotation, then you get to create a new token, and for a period of 7 days, both the old and the new one will, both of them will continue to work. So now you can give the new one to your developer, who can swap out on their instance while the old one also continues to work. So this will provide a seamless rotation once in 90 days. So this is not going to take away the existing solution which we have built for the app developers, right? That entire API-driven OAuth approach is going to work. This is separate for, sub-accounts and agencies who want to build private apps. For example, let's say Make apps or Zapier, etc. This use case is meant for one-on-one interaction between a developer and an agency or a sub-account. We have launched this feature in labs for sub-accounts for now, and we'll soon be launching this for agencies as well in probably next week. So a couple of features related to the app management from an agency perspective, right? For white label agencies, we provide some enhanced app permissions, right? White label agencies get to control what apps are visible to the sub-accounts in the sub-account app marketplace.
One of the frequent problems here was we have an approval flow where agencies can decide whether an app is visible to the sub account or not, right? Now, what was happening was any new app that's created. So we have apps being created every day or every week. All these new apps were auto approved, and the agency had to constantly go monitor, see whether it's something they want to expose to the sub account and then enable disable it, right? Which was a lot of continued effort. So what we did was add this option called auto approve newly added apps in the app marketplace. But while we were at it, we also kind of simplified the entire app permission management. So we have broken this down into 3 tiered levels of permissions, right? The first one is, hey, do I even want my sub accounts to access the app marketplace in their left navigation menu? This is the highest level of permission. If you do, the second one is, do you want the sub accounts to see all my approved apps which are yet to be installed and they get to explore and install the apps they want to? Or no, let them just see the ones that I have installed onto the sub accounts only, right? So they just get to manage the apps that you as an agency have installed onto their account. And the third one is basically, if you're okay with sub accounts having access to new apps, then how do you want to manage all the new, brand new apps that are coming into the marketplace? Do you want to auto approve or auto deny all of them and, filter them yourself? So we have created this 3-tiered structure for white label agencies to manage the app marketplace experience for the sub accounts. Moving on. This was a pressing problem before, which we have fixed. So coming back to the agency and sub account distribution model, the way it works is the agency gets to install the app onto the sub account. The sub accounts can't install these apps themselves. Earlier, we were listing these apps also in the sub account marketplace. So when they went to click on the install button was disabled and it said, hey, please reach out to your agency. This was a frustrating experience, right? So what we did was we have removed all these agency and sub account distribution type apps from the sub account marketplace. They're only visible to the agency now, right? So this will avoid all these queries you are getting because of the unnecessary apps that are visible to them. Moving on to the user management now, right? So back in June, we released the granular permissions in labs, and this is live in labs as of now. So what this does is, and this is something that our product teams are building as we go, right? For every product, you can either enable, disable the product itself, whether a user can access it. And if they can, there are more granular permissions that we're allowing, the products are offering to the users, right? So you as an admin get to decide whether they can view the opportunity or create and edit and delete the opportunity, dispute the opportunity lead value, etc. So these are granular permissions that each of our products can now offer to the admins, and the admins can now granularly control what kind of access the users have to the entire Go High Level product, right? Another point here is there is ease of replicating the permissions from one user to another. So let's say you have Bob, who is already in sales team, and there's Adam, who newly joined. You can replicate Bob's access over to Adam and not have to, reconfigure the entire thing for Adam again. Another extension to this is something for the agencies. So let's say you're a firm with 5 members, right? And you're the agency owner, you have a team of 4. And let's say you have 20 locations that your agency is managing. If you have account managers, the 4 agency admins under you, each of them managing 5 locations, you can now assign them that, hey, let my agency admin A manage sub accounts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Agency admin B manage 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on. So there's clear demarcation and limitation in terms of what they can access. Not every agency admin can access all the sub accounts. It's you can tailor and define and assign specific sub accounts to specific agency admins. So this covers all the things that we released so far, right? So now we'll look at all the things that we're targeting to release in Q3. So in Q3, we are expanding the modules that developers can offer on the app marketplace. One of the big ones is the snapshot, right? So going forward, you as an agency will be able to discover apps with snapshots in the app marketplace. While installing, you'll be able to see what does the snapshot contain, right? For example, in this case, there are 2 calendars, 1 campaign, like etc. Right? Once you have installed the app, you can seamlessly push or load the snapshot onto the sub accounts within the app marketplace experience. You can also do it while creating the sub accounts. You can also use it as part of your SaaS plan, so that any new sub account that signs up for the SaaS plan automatically gets the snapshot to start with. Now I can also start selling snapshots on the app marketplace. So what we have done is drastically simplified the entire app creation process to make, snapshot apps and all the new modules that we're going to create very easy. All this while the entire app, the developer portal was extremely developer focused and a bit complex. This is a big project and initiative within the marketplace team to drastically simplify the app creation flow, so that, for something as simple as a snapshot only app should be as easy as, let's say 10-15 minutes effort for you to create and launch. This is how the experience looks like. Within the snapshot page, once you click on share snapshot, you can generate a snapshot share link. One important feature here is the IP protection, right? Once you have, let's say, launched your snapshot app, and once your other agencies have installed the snapshot and they're pushing it to their location, what is stopping them from copying those assets, right, and repackaging them and reselling it as their own snapshot app? That's where IP protection comes into place. We will track the source of every asset down to the user who created it. And once this, you have created this link for a specific snapshot, every asset that is tagged to that snapshot are protected. Nobody else can repackage and sell it on the app marketplace, or even, create a share link out of it. That's the power of IP protection, which is already live and is going to be a great complementary feature for the snapshot app marketplace, right? So a quick preview of what the new app creation flow will look like. You just select snapshot. What modules does your app contain? Click snapshot, give your snapshot a name, copy the link and paste it here, and just couple of more steps in terms of a pricing plan, how you want to catalog it, etc. And then you launch it, right? So that's on the snapshot marketplace. Let me just pause here. Any questions so far?
Chris?
Yes. So I love that you guys can track, who made an asset to who created it. I have a question here though. So let's say in a snapshot there's a custom field called house 1. Okay. And that's part of the snapshot that's being sold on the marketplace. Well, what if somebody else has a snapshot and they use the same naming convention and they call their custom value or custom field house 1?
That one, yeah.
Are you basically, like, in my mind, just doing that alone wouldn't prevent somebody from selling their own snapshot with the same naming convention? But the second part of my question is, well, what if somebody pulls up 2 screens or 2 browsers side by side and they literally copy the entire structure of the underlying assets for a snapshot? Okay.
Yeah.
Same naming convention, that where, let's say somebody had five assets that had the same naming convention. Like, how do you guys really tell which one, how do you guys really prevent somebody from like copying and just recreating their own, like not like copying it from the source snapshot, but I mean recreating it and copying it?
Got it. Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. So it's difficult, right? That's a hard problem to solve. And while we figure out how to solve that, the option that we do have is, if you as a snapshot seller on the marketplace do come across a replica who has copied your assets and reselling it, just report it to us. We know who created it first, and we will take down the replica, app from the app marketplace.
Okay.
That's the solution for now until we figure out, a solution to kind of solve the, copy from recreate.
I mean, finding solution is not as easy, right? For that specific, I mean, recreating piece of it. It is kind of open, and then everybody can get inspired, or maybe instead of calling it a copy, they would just say it as inspired and then recreate the same thing over. But there is no easy way to stop that.
Yeah.
But as I said, let's just loop us in, and then we'll try to figure out what can be done or what is possible.
I mean, this is a global problem, no matter what topic we're talking about, right? Whether it's
Oh,
college
yeah.
essays or whatever, there's no such thing as an original idea, right? But I think this gets us to the vast majority of 100%, and for the rest of them, we'll have to deal with it on a case-by-case basis. But it's like almost like copyright stuff. It's easier with the images and those type of assets. So as long as we put up a bunch of roadblocks for the people that are just trying to click an easy button, I think that helps a ton.
Yeah.
And the other ones, we'll kind of get in the trenches with you. But yeah.
It's funny you brought up copyright, because I have a background in music, and I was just about to say, like, we need to kind of replicate somehow the copyright system.
Yeah. Well, that might be a discussion for somebody that is a little bit more heady than me when it comes to legal stuff. So, but anyway, Dale, you've got something?
Yes, but not on the snapshot, specifically for the user management.
Okay.
So, yep, the question on the user management is that, how is there a thought of separating the agency admin and users against the location admin and users? Because my use case would be, I would like to retain only 3 agency admins, but then all of my other teammates need to be an agency user, but their permissions would be on a level of location admins. So, because currently, if I only mark them as agency users, there are certain functionalities that when they go to the sub account, they're only treated as location users, but they are agency people. So I would like them, even though that they are marked as agency users, their permission would be equal to an admin, account admin, location admin, because they are managing or supporting that sub account, and I don't want them as agency users to access anything on the agency side.
Got it. So your question is regarding the constraint here, right? Which is, for me, for an agency user to manage a specific sub account, they need to be an agency admin, which is a problem, right?
Correct.
Ideally, this should be an agency user and not necessarily be an agency admin, because that's a security risk at the agency level. Fair feedback, Leah. We will take that and we'll work on that.
Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for that feedback, Leah.
Yeah, agency user sub account.
Awesome. So we spoke about snapshots. The next module that we are targeting for Q3 is the funnel widgets. What are funnel widgets? It can be as simple as, a timer, countdown to a specific date, some numbers you can show regarding, success rate, etc., to something which can be as integrated as Google reviews, right? And the way we're going to achieve this is, you can come onto the app marketplace, create a custom funnel widget, essentially just upload all your a zip file with all your web assets onto the marketplace, test it, and then launch it. And all your users can discover it within the funnel builder experience and then install it and then just drag and drop the assets into the funnel builder, configure it based on whatever the way you have designed it, and then bam, like it's out and live on the website, right? So this is another module that we are very bullish about in terms of driving adoption of the apps on the app marketplace. The next one is the new pricing models. So with snapshots and custom funnel widgets, one of the necessity and dependency is to have the complementary pricing models, right? Since most of these are kind of a one-time transactions, we are targeting launching the one-time pricing model in this quarter. Second, similar to free trial, but another way of driving adoption is freemium, where you have a base free plan and then you can create paid premium plans, right? So that your users get a flavor of what your app does. And then once you have them hooked, you can kind of nudge them towards a more paid premium plan. This requires the ability to upgrade pricing plans, which we lack today. And that's another feature we're working on, right? So freemium and upgrade pricing plans will be one release where you can configure a free plan, a paid plan, and then the users can then move from one plan to another, right? And this is kind of the experience that will look, what this will look like. Within the installed apps, you'll have an option to update your pricing plan, choose the new plan, and then this will show you what your billing adjustments are, especially if you're changing your subscription in the middle of the billing cycle, what the adjustments are, and then you pay and then you go ahead, right? So these ones are also important in terms of adoption. And then finally, usage-based pricing, right? Usage-based pricing is critical when it comes to, let's say, custom workflow actions triggers, or let's say building AI bots on the app marketplace, even communication providers, etc. A lot of these require usage-based pricing, and that's something we're targeting for Q3. Right. So this was all the new pricing models that we are releasing into our app marketplace billing product. The next one is something called dual profiles. So what is meant by dual profiles, right? The app profile is basically all the things you see here, which is all the preview images, the app details. You can also put video, etc. Right. Now, today, for the agency and sub-account type app, the developer could only have one set of details, right? One set of images, details, and video, and the same would be displayed to the agency as well as the sub-account. But from a developer's perspective, what they're trying to do is sell to the agency while educate the sub-account, right? So the communication is very different. And the white label friendliness applies only in the content they are exposing to the sub-account and not the agency. So that's why we came up with this feature called dual profiles, where a developer can customize what an agency sees in the marketplace versus what the sub-account see. Second, to complement that, it's important that, especially if you're a white label agency, you want to know what your sub-account is going to see before you install the app, right? That's a check you would do. So we are going to give a preview as feature, right? So you get to see your view, what the developer wants you to see, which is the cell, and then the sub-account view. This is exactly what the sub-account will see once they have installed the app, right? So there's full transparency in terms of how your sub-accounts are going to perceive and view the apps in their marketplace. So this is an important step towards building trust, especially for the white label agencies in the app marketplace. Moving on to integrations now, right? Allow multiple pages per account. So this has been long overdue, but essentially what this will enable you is connect multiple Facebook and Instagram pages per account, your Go High Level account. Flexible lead sync, get all the leads and messages in one place, and also clear attribution in terms of the messages and leads that come, right? Which page those leads are coming from, right? This is the multiple Facebook/Instagram pages per account. The next one is customizing, custom menu link customization. What can you do? You can reorder the entire custom menu links and how your agency as well as sub-accounts see it in the left navigation menu. You can customize and assign these custom links to specific roles, and finally assign them to specific sub accounts, right? So as an agency, you now have granular control in terms of which, how they see the custom menu links as well as who sees them. Dia, sorry, I didn't see.
Dia's got a question.
Hey, Dia.
Yes. So, is there a thought of when you're hovering over a URL, you'll see the full link?
What? Oh, for
Here, you
that.
mean?
Yeah, because you need to edit it to see the full link.
Got it. I think that should be there, but I will make sure it's there.
Thank you.
That's a
That's
good
great
UI
feedback.
catch.
Yeah.
The next obvious question is, are they going to be able to rename the standard module menu link names? Like
No.
some people do this with CSS where they don't call opportunities, they call it pipeline.
Got it. That's not part of the scope for now.
Yeah. I mean, that's
but
going to have a lot of implications too, right? Because it's a reference different places. So for now, I
Exactly.
guess for the folks that are looking for that, CSS is probably your answer. But I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, but what we are targeting for Q3 is ability to reorder the native menu links within the left navigation menu, right? You can
Right.
reorder them, but you can't change the name.
Got it.
And-
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
so
you
two
can't-
different things, custom menu links and then the standard ones, which will be able to be reordered and so forth, but that'll be later. Cool.
Correct. Cool. New integration for Q3, Google Lead Ads, very similar to the Facebook Lead Ads, where if you have a campaign and a form on that you're running on a Google Ad, once your contacts submit an interest, those lead forms will be submitted and they'll flow seamlessly all over, like, all the way to your Go High Level account, and then you can build your workflows, warm them up and so on. Other features enhancements. These are not just because they're clubbed in one slide doesn't mean they're small. It's just that I don't have the visuals to capture it. But one of the most important and critical features that we are building this quarter is the app updates feature, right? With this, currently, if developers roll out new versions, the users were forced to uninstall and reinstall the app, which was a very, very poor experience. And we're going to solve that with a seamless app update experience in Q3. The next one is, in addition to snapshots and funnel widgets, we're also launching website templates on the app marketplace. The third one is marketplace apps for third-party integrations. We'll provide a seamless sign-in with capability, right? What does this mean? For example, we spoke about the ClickUp app that a developer has, right? We'll allow the developer to configure sign-in with ClickUp, which is part of the installation flow, right? So today, you as a user have to share your API key or credentials, which is a security risk, right? We want to avoid that. We want to build OAuth here, where you will be able to sign in, like go to your ClickUp page, sign in, and then the developer takes it from there, right? The fourth one is support ticket management. Today, if you have, let's say, some support required with the app, the app developer, the entire experience is outside, right? There's a support links, documents, and contact details that developers provide, but they may not be responsive, etc., etc. So we want to kind of streamline this and bring it in-house within the Go High Level ecosystem, right? So we want to build a support kind of system where there are 3 parties involved: you as a customer, third-party developer, as well as Go High Level, so that we are aware if you are not getting the right support, then we can come in and kind of intervene and make sure that you are getting the best support. Finally, ability to include apps in SaaS plans and auto install on sign up, right? This is critical if, let's say, you have snapshots which require some custom workflow actions and triggers, right? So you have a great starter kit you have created, customized, and you have assigned it to, let's say, a SaaS plan called real estate, right? And if you have specific workflow actions, etc., which are an integral part of those workflows, you can now package all of them into your SaaS plan. So all the apps that you have configured will get automatically installed whenever a sub account signs up with that SaaS plan. So these are all the features that we're targeting in App Marketplace. Moving on to user management, creating custom roles with a custom set of permissions. So we spoke about how you can replicate permissions. We'll now allow you to give it a name called sales, marketing, IT, and so on. And you can now assign that set of permissions or role to a specific user. It's a lot easier for you to maintain permissions and manage users. The second one is more granular permissions at the agency level. We have shortlisted 5, most asked permissions at the agency level. Some of them being, ability to see your financial dashboards, customize your Stripe payment page, and so on, right? So as an agency owner, you'll be able to restrict your other agency admins or users from, even accessing those parts of your agency account. And finally, there is user notification, which is specific for white label agencies on 297 and 497 plan. You will be able to customize the system emails such as welcome email, password reset, etc. One thing I forgot to call out, the entire custom handling customization is also limited to just the 497 plan users. So that is all on the app marketplace integrations and user management. Any questions or feedback?
I have a question, a little not quite related to this exact topic. I think you've kind of moved on from it, but earlier you were talking about custom communications channels, creating channels. And so some of the issues we're running into, we've created a custom channel. I have a customer who does a lot of like eBay online sales. So we've created a custom, API integration. The two issues are, number one, there is no way to DND the custom channel, number one. But the bigger issue that we have is, in our case, since eBay is a little bit unique, but I'm assuming this may happen across the board in other sites. When someone messages in from eBay, we don't actually have a real contact. It's an alias, right? It has a member email address that's assigned by eBay. It's not an actual contact. So the challenge is that you can't initiate an outbound message through the API in that case, because we don't, it doesn't work that way. eBay doesn't work that way. And if someone tries to do that, they think that they're sending a message to that person, but it doesn't work because there's no authentication on the other side to match that. That eBay knows who you think you're trying to message, right? So you really need the capabilities on those custom channels to be able to have a little bit more control. In our case, if we roll it out to another eBay customer, we need to make sure they just don't. So the inbound question is fine, and then they can reply to the inbound at that point, but they can't initiate a message from the CRM.
Got it. So I think two things here, right? One is we need to figure out whether that's even allowed, right, via APIs, because a lot of the platforms have kind of strict, they allow response to messages, but I don't think many platforms allow initiating conversations via API, right? So I think a lot of these might be constraints on the platform itself. The second one is the entire, how you perceive the conversation within high level, right? They require, let's say, email or like some fields which don't exist with the contact, right? And I know that today there are some of these constraints which our conversation provider implementation has. For example, if that particular eBay has been configured as an SMS type, then it requires that contact has a phone number for you to use it. So we have been getting this feedback from other developers as well, and that's something we plan to address very soon, Glenn. So that
Yeah, no, that's good. Here's the other thing that we ran into that I can't imagine other people aren't running into. So in this particular case, again, it's eBay, and that may be unique. But in this particular case, if someone has, let's say, Outlook or Gmail, they can have those eBay messages flow into their inbox, and they can reply from their inbox.
Right.
You can't do that in high level because you're not using real POP and SMTP pure like inbox works, right? You're going through Mailgun. So there's no authentication in the headers. The messages can't be threaded back and forth. It's a mess. So we had to build this whole custom thing, which was a huge expense and hugely time consuming for something that the customer was already doing in Outlook and Gmail natively. So my issue, and what I brought up quite a while ago, was, and I know HubSpot does this, and I believe Salesforce, I know they do as well. Why not have the ability to just configure your mail accounts as a regular inbox like you would from an email client like Outlook or Gmail for that matter? And then in that situation, he would have been communicating in the CRM, which is what he wanted to be doing, but he would be communicating via the email channel like he was doing outside of the CRM. But then when we put him in the CRM, we had to build this very complicated, extremely complicated API with, make, logic and all kinds of things going on. Is that something that someone, has thought about? I mean, it makes it difficult for me as an agency to want to sell to those people if I have to keep building custom channels every time I run into something that's a little bit, not unique, when a normal email client already handles those conversations.
So Glenn, I think I'll chip in here, Karthik. So we are looking into that on the conversation side, and we will talk about bits of it in the next module presentation by Sushmita. But having said that, Glenn, I think I would suggest let's connect a sync and let's run this down end to end and see where exactly the problem is.
Yeah,
but
that's fine.
I believe we have spoken before about this, and I understand where you're coming from. But let's connect one more time and run this down properly.
Yeah, that's fine. It's it's just something I think that we could roll it out to potentially some other kind of customers without we didn't have to build an integration every single time we did it. We just turn a thing on and just go with it. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Makes sense.
Awesome. Over to you, Sushmita.
Cool. Sushmita, over to you.
Everyone, I'm Sushmita. I'm the product manager for Conversations. Today, we will look at some of the recent releases that we made for Conversations in the last 1 month and what we have in pipeline for the Q3 quarter. Starting with what we have released, first item is the two-way sync enhancements that we did for Outlook. With Outlook, you have a labs feature. If you turn this on, you can have the full two-way sync, as in instead of just syncing the emails that are initiated from the CRM, even the new emails that contact initiates or the emails that you send from your Outlook inbox to contacts, those are also synced. And you can also use auto BCC address to automatically create contacts and move the conversation to CRM from your Outlook inbox. And there is one more enhancement that we did here. So we have seen that in most of the account users are often added as contacts. And earlier what happened was any email that these account users exchanged between each other, these were also automatically synced and visible to every user who has access to that contact in the CRM. Now we have added one more additional check wherein if the contact is also a system user, then we do not sync those emails because they could have confidential information. And the next one that we have released is the ability to log external calls. If you are using any third-party tools or platforms to handle your calls, now we have released some APIs through which you can post these calls, send the call recordings, all of that to the CRM, and you will see everything in Conversations. And the other way you can do it is through workflows. So you can just use the inbound webhook trigger to pass your call details, and whenever there is a call happening, then this workflow will be called, and there is a new action to log this external call. Here you can fill in all of the fields like what is the call direction? Is it inbound, outbound? When did the call happen? And you can also share the call recording URL. And this will, whenever the workflow is executed, the call will be posted on Conversations, and you can look at the call recordings as well. And the next one that we have is for SMS. We have now added capability for users to look at the number of characters and the number of SMS segments that it would consume based on the text added. If there is any text or emojis based on how the provider calculates this is shown upfront so that the user can get context on how many segments he would be charged for. And moving to the features we have in plan for the current quarter. The first one is the ability to add internal comments. What I mean by this is if your users are communicating with a contact, and let's say they want to exchange the information with one more account user. So instead of having these conversations outside the CRM, internally itself, along with the, just a second. One second. Yeah. So within the CRM itself, you can just switch to the internal comment section, type in a message, and also you can tag other users and send the message. This internal comment will be visible only to the account users, and this is not sent as a message to the contact. And whoever you tag, they will receive a notification saying there is a comment where you were mentioned, and they can click on it to navigate to this comment and look at the comment that is mentioned over here. And here we are also giving you options to filter out all the internal comments that you have in a chat or even the conversations wherever you are mentioned, so that you get quick access to all of these.
This is great. Are you saying though, is the issue here you have to have that contact that you want to see those internal notes has to be attached or assigned to that contact or a follower of that contact? Is that how that's managed?
Well, if you add any other user who does not have access, he will be automatically added as a follower.
Okay, so so let me just make sure I'm clear, because I think this would be great for us. So from a sales perspective, if we're putting in notes about a sales conversation, but we want our support department or installation department to know about all those notes, will they natively, if they are obviously have to be a CRM user, of course, would they be able to just see that, or do I have to turn on some kind of certain permissions to them, or tell it which people have access? Like we have 20 support people at our call desk. Can they just automatically, can I just have all those 20 have access to see those notes? Is that how that's going to work? I'm just not clear on what you're saying.
So basically about the access, any user who has access to this contact and the link, and whoever can see the conversation will also get access to this contact. And if you are mentioning a user explicitly, like using @ and tagging a specific user, then even if they don't have access, they will be automatically added as a contact follower so that they get access and they'll be able to view the comment.
So that's great. My only comment would be if you could maybe create groups as well. So instead of tagging an individual, maybe we can tag like a group. That would be really, really great. Because if I have a new prospect that I'm just sold to and I want to put notes in for the installation department group, I just want to copy, make sure they can see that. I don't need the support team to see it, but I need the installation team to see it. So if you could possibly do that, that'd be great. But this is a good feature. I'm sorry to interrupt, but this is good.
Got it. Yeah,
Yep.
I've got it down. Sure. And then the next feature that we have is the group chat feature for.
There you go.
Dia, you have a question. Please go ahead.
Yes. Just to clarify as well, the individuals who are being tagged or mentioned in the internal comments, do they need to be a user on the account, or agency users / admins that are not added into a location can also be tagged?
They should be added in the location. So anybody who is under my staff for this location, they can be tagged.
Okay, so that is a little bit that's probably going to be an inconvenience, because if, let's say, one of my team member is not being added because they are currently an agency admin, which should have been just agency user, I don't need to add them into the sub account.
Right.
Because they are managing multiple sub accounts. So in essence, if me as a team leader, I'm going to put in there and then I notice something and I want to tag that agency person, then I won't be able to tag them to assist specifically on that account because they're not an account user. Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Got it. We'll look into this.
Yeah, I think this came up in the last tunnel as well. I think the one which we recently had, and we will look into this. The only problem here is that now we are making them as a follower, and followers are usually who's part of the sub account as a user already. So that's the disconnect today we have. But having said that, let us look into this and see what can be done.
Thank you.
If the follower was a group, if you had your admins be a group and your followers, then in the group you could follow the whole group, and all those people might be a way to.
But even then, like that user has to be part of the sub account, right? To be part of it.
Right. Yep. Okay.
Cool. Go ahead, Sushmita.
Yeah. And the next feature that we have is group chat for SMS. So with this, what you can do is today in conversations, you select one contact and send a message. And once we have the group chat, you can create a group, add multiple contacts into one group and send messages. If anybody in the group responds back, then also it is delivered to all of the participants and you get the proper group view over here. Like this is one of the most requested features, especially with real estate, where we have seen that they want to add all the family members into one group and communicate so that everybody is aware of the discussion that's happening. So, and in other industries as well, this will really help take the communications further to the next level.
Can you do that in live chat? Can you tag multiple people like that?
Right now, it's for SMS that we are planning this.
And then how does that work for billing? If you have multiple people in the conversation, who's paying for all those credits if it's hitting multiple people at the same time?
For any outgoing message, it would be because the message is sent to everybody in the group, it will be the number of participants in the group. If it's an incoming message, because the contact is sending you, you will pay it for one message.
Okay.
That you are receiving. And the next one that we have is the ability for you to select a number when you are sending a message to WhatsApp channel. All the numbers that are configured here will be displayed over here in the conversations composer. By default, we will select the last used number that you have used to connect with the contact. And if you want to switch the number, you can do that. Similarly, if the contact has multiple numbers added to them, you can also switch the contacts number from the composer. And the same thing, even for SMS, you will be able to see all the numbers phone numbers that you have in the system, and you can choose which number you want. If you are an admin, then you get access to all the numbers, and if you are a user, then you will see the company default number, any number that's assigned to you, and the unassigned numbers that you have configured. You can select one number and send an SMS, and by default, the last used is selected. And the next one that we have is for email. So today, when you're selecting the email ID, by default, if you have two-way sync connected, that email is shown, or if you do not have, the profile email of the user is shown. Now we will give you a drop-down with all the email IDs that the user has connected, the business email, his profile email, and the two-way sync email that is connected. And they can choose which email they want to send the email to the contact and use it for quick access.
There's one thing, when you're replying to an email and you hit, the reply symbol, you don't have an option at that point to add someone else into the distribution of that email if I wanted to copy someone else in on that. Is that something that you guys that either have I overlooked? Am I doing something wrong, or is that something we can? So I'm having a conversation, but now I need to loop someone in, right? I need to see.
Yeah, Glenn, we have it as one more item for the current roadmap. So when you are replying also, you can add more people in CC, BCC fields and the two fields.
And is that a Q3
Yes.
thing really? Oh, perfect. Great. Thank you.
All right. And the next one we have is the personal inbox for conversations. So this will be a big one where so basically with personal inbox, what we plan to do is give the flexibility for user to handle all of his communications from within the CRM itself, instead of he having to move to his Gmail or Outlook inbox to send out emails. Some of the changes that we will be doing here is today, if you connect your personal email under two-way sync, every email that comes in is automatically visible to all the users in the system as long as they have access to the contact. So with personal inbox, what they can do is they will receive each email that comes into their personal email ID into the personal inbox section. And if any email thread is relevant to the business, they can choose those threads and explicitly take that call to move those emails to the team inbox. So every email is not exposed. You will have control on what should be shown to everybody and what is still your personal, though you connect your personal email ID.
So this is similar to what I asked before. So how is that going to work? If someone's sending a email into, domain.com and not to like replies.domain, not to the sub account, you're going to be able to thread those emails into this feature here. Is that what you guys are describing?
So this is basically if you have connected your Gmail or Outlook email under your two-way sync settings. Today in your My Profile section, there is an option where you have ability to add your personal email ID, right? If you have connected it there, then it comes here. If it is coming onto your domain and it's not connected as your personal email ID, then it goes to the team inbox.
I'd love to see how that's set up, because what you're describing to me doesn't seem to be the way that I'm using this or believe it works. Because right now, to have a synced email, you either have to have the person exist in your regular account and your CRM, right? And you have to initiate the email from the CRM. But if you're initiating from your inbox, then you need to put the BCC address hidden in there for it to thread into the CRM. So how do you do that? If are you describing? Correct me if I'm wrong. Are you describing an environment where automatically any email anybody sends to my root domain email that I've had for 20 years?
Not any email. Only the emails that are coming from the contacts are being sent to the contact. So he should be already a contact in your account. Only then it is fetched.
Okay, I'll message. I'll peel off with someone on the side and understand that, because that's a big thing for me. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'll share my calendar link. You
Perfect.
also connect to discuss this in more detail.
Thank you.
Sure. And moving to the next item, we are coming up with folders and search functionality for snippets. So you have the ability to move your snippets into specific folders and search for different snippets. Even when you are using these snippets in the conversations composer, you can navigate through the folders to select your snippet or search for the snippets. So this is more for giving the user ability to organize snippets and find the snippet when he wants to quickly access it. And some more additional features like duplicating a snippet, so that if you want to make any quick changes to existing ones, they can be done. And all of that will be available in Q3. And it's not mandatory that you have folders. If you do not move any of them to folders, the current one will still work. But if you want to get into the folder structure, you can start moving your snippets. And the next feature that we are building is ability to add quick replies for Facebook or Instagram interactive messages. Today, if somebody comments on your Facebook or Instagram posts, you have the option to set up interactive messages through automations. There, what you can do is you have the ability to set up like up to three buttons, like you see over here, so that the user can quickly click on it or redirect them to a website. So with quick replies, what you can do a lot, give the user a lot more options, up to 11 options over here. And this is like the suggested next reply. Instead of the user having to type in the message, if you quickly show him what his next question or answer would be, he just taps on it and it is sent as a message to you. So this will help to increase the engagement further and reduce the drop-off from contacts. And this is both for Facebook and Instagram. Yeah. And the next one that we have, so this was the one that you were asking, Glenn, when you are replying to an email, now you can also modify the email recipients, add more participants, include or remove people from to CC and BCC fields and send the email.
Great.
And when you are responding, we will also give you an ability to view which email you are responding to.
Cool.
Question on that, sorry.
Yeah.
Add remove recipients when replying to emails. How about changing the sender?
You can still change the sender. The from drop-down that we saw in the previous screen, that will still be there. You can change the from email ID and it goes from the selected one.
When you're replying to an email?
Yeah.
So if there's already an email thread and then somebody else is going to reply to that email, I still have, 3 dots and then reply. I have the ability to change the sender email, sender name.
Right.
Yes, we already have that.
No, today we don't have it. We will be building.
Okay, awesome. Thanks.
And then next one that we have is the typing indicators. So this is basically if sometimes we see that because all the chats are visible here, multiple users end up responding to the same contact and the contact would receive more than one answer for his incoming message. So now if somebody else is typing, as in a different user is typing a response to the contact, you can see that somebody else is typing so that you don't end up sending duplicate messages to the same contact. Yeah. And a couple of other features that we are also looking at for this quarter are internal chat. So this is like you can imagine something like Slack or G Talk inside the CRM. If there is any user-to-user communication, instead of they having to send an SMS or WhatsApp or relying on any third-party channels, within the CRM itself, they can initiate a chat. And this will be a separate section where you can see all your team interactions if you are part of them, and also initiate these chats with a group of users.
This is Q3 release?
Yes, Glenn.
The ability to have like a Slack internally inside the CRM you're describing?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. And the next one that we have is the extension for two-way sync. So what I mean by this is if you are still using your Gmail inbox or Outlook inbox from your web browser, Chrome browser, so there you will have an add-in or extension that you can install to your inbox. Using that, you can automatically log the email. So if you think instead of using the auto BCC manually, you just click on log email and the email is automatically synced to your CRM. Similarly, even to add new contacts, you will have a button, you click on it and the contact and the conversation is automatically synced to the CRM and the rest of the messages also will flow in.
And if that email contact doesn't exist in the CRM, it'll create the contact and then you're going to bring that conversation in.
Correct. Yeah.
That I've been asking for that that is great. Excellent. Great. Hey, Don, yeah.
Yeah.
Big.
Sure. And the next one that we have is comments for or you can automate replies to the users if somebody comments on your Instagram stories, live or your reels. Today we already support this automation for Instagram posts. So the same thing can be also done for reels, live and story comments. And the last one that we have is the drafts. So basically, if you type in any message and without sending the message, or let's say you composed a huge email and without sending it, you exit from conversations or move to a different place. Today, when you come back, that message is lost. Now we will keep the message intact so that this is again at a user level, once the user comes back, he doesn't have to type in everything from scratch and instead send it quickly because it's already there. Yeah, that's all we have. And if you want to discuss anything additional about any of the features that we discussed, more than happy to get on a call and show you the flow, take your inputs. I'll share my calendar link. Please block any time that works for you. And any new
Awesome.
ideas, we'll share them on idea board.
Always about the ideas board. All right. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Sid.
Yep.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for these lengthy presentations. I know it's a marathon for everybody involved, so thanks for hanging out with us. Thank you immensely to the team for all the work they're putting in. Like I've said in the chat, like every day I'm impressed on how much further we're pushing this product and this whole ecosystem along. It doesn't go unnoticed. You guys do amazing work. So thanks for that. Thanks for all the feedback. I was instructed to pitch the summit, and so I posted the link down there. If you have not signed up or got tickets, I would do so as quickly as possible. Hotel space is filling up rapidly. And we really want to hang out with you. We're going to be there. Our whole team is going to be there. It'll be a big party. We get to discuss this stuff and more. Just think, we've got a whole presentation of things that are coming soon that we haven't talked about. So I'm stoked for that and looking forward to meeting a lot of you guys in person. And with that, I think we can call it.
Can Sesmitha post her calendar link, please? Okay, thank you.
For anyone that's on the fence about the summit, it's an amazing time, guys. I've been there 2 years in a row, and now I get to join as a high-level team member. It's like Ryan said, it's a big party, but we're all there for business and stuff, so it's really nice seeing everyone in person.
Andrew, dude.
Hey, what's up, Glenn?
Yeah.
Hey, just a quick question that CCBCC stuff on replies, is that this quarter?
Pretty
Yes,
sure.
brother.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. It got bumped from Q2.
Yeah. Things happen. All
Good
right.
job.
Well, very
Good job.
guys.
Yeah. Good
Thanks
job.
a lot.
Yep.
Take care.
Thank you. See ya.
Thanks a lot, everyone.